Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless. Shannon Sharpe, good morning.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
It's Monday morning.
You're actually publicly admitting that you drank before the show?
Last night.
All night? So you're hungover for the show?
No, I say,
Really?
This one came from my homeboy, Lurchy. They call him Lurchy because he's 6'10". This one's all the way from Japan.
Wow.
If you can see on the back of it, it's written in Japanese.
I see
He
that.
said, I want you to
I'm
say,
impressed.
he said, save this one for a special occasion. I was like, special occasion. It's a special occasion. Now, I told you, Skip, I've been telling you since August. I said, Skip, I want you to have that same energy the last Monday in September. That energy, when you turn it to the camera and you bang the table, I said, I
Go
want
ahead,
that
do it
energy.
for the Saints.
No, I want to do it. I want to do it.
Please.
I'll do it. How about that?
Yeah,
Wasn't good enough.
I want you to think, who that?
Oh, okay.
Who that?
So now you're on their bandwagon.
Yeah.
You know, I am extremely happy for you today because this is the
What-
rare Cowboy Monday.
What'd I do?
When you can overgloat and prematurely celebrate. And I'm happy for you because next Monday, it's going to be back to normal, back to business as usual, and I'm going to feel sorrier and
You know,
sorrier for you
guess
as
what?
the season wears on.
Guess what happened, Skip Bayless? 2 cases of due to the winner over here.
Yep.
How happy are you right now about that?
Let's get to the question because I have a lot
All
to
right,
say about
all
those
right.
2 cases
I have
of
a
due.
feeling you have plenty to say, and we have so much to discuss. How concerned should the Patriots be about Brady's performance? We celebrating about
The best
that too.
quarterback
and
in the
we're
NFL.
critics too quick to discount Baker and the Browns. We'll go there, but first we are going to get going with the Cowboys. It was a defensive battle last night in the Saints' 12-10 win. Ezekiel Elliott averaged less than 2 yards per carry and had a key fumble, but Zeke also had the only touchdown in the game. Jason Witten led the team with 50 receiving yards, but he also lost a fumble. Dak Prescott had under 250 passing yards, no touchdowns, and an interception on a Hail Mary attempt at the very end of the game. So Dak had this to say on the Cowboys' first loss of the season. Take a listen.
They've got a good front. I mean, that's a good defense we're playing. And give them a lot of credit. They came in, they had a great game plan, and they executed it. I mean, I'm sure they look at these stats, and they're going to be proud of what they did, but simply, we just didn't execute. We've got a great team. There's no confidence lost with this loss. I can promise you that.
All right, Shannon, who is most to blame for the Cowboys' loss?
The guy that was just at the podium.
Really?
Yeah, he got to own this one, Skip.
Interesting.
He got to wear this hat.
Is it my turn?
No, it's not your turn just yet. I don't know why you wanted to be your turn already. If your defense gives up 12 points, and, you know, that nobody had, he's the best QBR, has the highest completion percentage. He had not had an incompletion in the third quarter.
Nope.
He had been missed the second half.
Still hasn't had an incomplete.
Wait, what'd they get him last night?
Got him a touchdown.
It's not your turn to talk.
Yes.
I'm talking now.
Well, you said in past tense, and he still hasn't had an incomplete in the third quarter.
He had an opportunity, Skip Bayless, 3 chances in the fourth quarter, down 2 points. All he needs is a field goal. He doesn't need a touchdown. No run, no win. You see what happens, Skip Bayless? Dak Prescott has the highest completion percentage. He's almost perfect when it goes play action to throwing the ball. Great completion percentage and touchdown. But guess what happens when you can't run the football? All of a sudden, them linebackers like, hey, that front four going to handle that run. Let me get back to my drop. Let me get into this hook. Let me worry about these over routes. And they took all that away. What happened to your boy Mark Cooper last night? Anyway, Skip Bayless.
Is it my turn?
No, it's not
you
your turn.
You asked me a question. I think he just gave up the floor.
No.
Not yet.
The guy that was completing 80% of his passes, there were 2 third and 2s. DJ, can you drop that track for me? Skip, you know I don't normally call for video. I don't like cop. I don't like to do this,
I'm
Skip.
about to call for a whole lot of
you
video.
call for whatever you want to. Hey, DJ, drop this track right quick for me. On 3rd and 2. Look at this right here. 3rd and 2. What kind of 3rd and 2?
You know
3rd and 2.
You know what? Can I respond to that? That was one of his best throws of the night. He led him upfield so he could turn and run for 10 more yards.
Right there.
And Randall Cobb got two hands on the ball. Shannon Sharpe gets two hands on the ball. He catches it. That was exactly where he aimed it.
No, Skip.
He threw it to him to turn upfield.
Skip.
I tweeted it immediately.
Skip.
He has to turn and run.
Skip.
And he was looking to run with it and flat out took his eyes off. I'm happy you showed that video. That was one of his smartest throws of the night.
If he turns and runs, Marcus Latimer is going to.
Nope.
It's cover 2. He would get decapitated.
Sorry, you blew it again. Thank you for showing that video. Next one.
Skip.
What's the next video?
Skip.
I don't know.
Skip.
Did you say you had two
Skip.
third and twos?
Skip. Why would
Show
you
me
argue?
another one.
Skip. Why would you argue
Show
with
me.
that?
I love it.
Go ahead, talk.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What's your other third and two?
I'm done.
Seriously?
Because you're trying to argue cover with me.
No, I know coverage. I know what that throw was. He led him upfield, and Randall Cobb took his eyes off the ball because he was looking to run 5 more yards with it.
Skip, just hear me out. They put Zeke out. They walked Zeke out. They left Latimer on it. It's a zone coverage.
Okay,
they're playing cover 2. If they
led him upfield.
Okay, go
Chris
ahead.
Collinsworth said, you know what? Randall's going to want that one back because it hit him right in the hand.
Go ahead, Skip.
Got to make that
Go ahead.
catch.
It's your cup.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
lay
go
it
ahead.
on.
You've interrupted me the whole time. You're upset the Cowboys lost. Go ahead.
No, I'm not upset. I'm actually very happy.
Go ahead.
My turn. Thank you very much. So, somebody across from me, to start with, predicted that Teddy Bridgewater's offense would score how many points? 30 points,
They
said
won.
Shannon Sharpe. 30 points?
So now you want to make it seem like
they scored 12.
How many did your offense score?
Oh, but I predicted 20-17 to Dallas because I said it would be a low-scoring game just the way it was.
But you
13-10.
You predicted a win.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you said 30 points, and my defense held them to 12, and I'm excited about my defense. I'm excited about Robert Quinn because I saw a Super Bowl defense emerging last night. I'm very happy and very proud of the way my defense performed because it's hard to contain Alvin Kamara the way they contained him.
They contained him?
It's hard to contain Michael Thomas the way they contained him.
They contained him?
Yep.
9 for 95. He had more catches.
Well, I'm just saying, it's hard. So now let's get to number 2. Yes, I lost 2 cases of Diet Dew, but I basically conceded both cases on Friday and on Thursday and on Wednesday because I told you Amari Cooper had an MRI on Tuesday. The results were quote-unquote negative, but the result to me was not positive because if you have an MRI, you got something wrong with your ankle. And I know Amari Cooper, the sweetest route runner in pro football, he could not burst out of his brakes last night. He was struggling with Marshawn Lattimore. He became the hero of the game because he couldn't push off of his ankle. And I told you going in, we are going to be limited with Amari, and we didn't have Michael Gallup. And I cannot wait to see New Orleans in the playoffs because we could go back down there with a healthy Amari and a healthy Michael Gallup and a healthy Drew Brees.
Who say y'all making the playoffs?
Well, I'm just saying. Well, I love my team.
Who say y'all making the playoffs? Hold on now.
Yeah. And now let's get to the New Orleans defense last night. I told you all week, Drew Brees does not play defense. That is the same unit that a majority of the prognosticators picked to win the NFC. It was partially because of Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas on offense, but it was also 50% the defense that can start 4 players drafted in the first round across the defensive front. You ever see anything like that? They got 4, all 4 across the front drafted in the first round. This will be Dallas's toughest defensive test of the year. You wait and see. And again, they have to play at Chicago and at New England. But this will be toughest because this was, as I told you all week, a revenge game for the New Orleans defense. Because the New Orleans defense, as Cam Jordan said after the game, they were told all week, you guys got your asses kicked in Dallas last year because you got out-physicaled by the Dallas Cowboys. So New Orleans at New Orleans, with that defense lit by that crowd of Cowboy-hating fans, and trust me, I've covered many Cowboy games in New Orleans. It is the toughest place they have to play because it's neighboring state. It's bordering state, and they hate Dallas even worse than the Eagles or the Giants or the Redskins hate Dallas. So it is crazy in there. And when Amari can't get out of his brakes with any burst, what happened last night, Shannon Sharpe? What was Amari called for twice? Pass interference, offensive pass interference. I will bet you in his career he's never been called for offensive pass interference because he is such a great route runner.
Marshawn Lattimore had him by the cuffs.
No, he can't burst. He can't get out. I tweeted it from the start. It's obvious he's limited.
No liquor license, no bourbon street.
Yeah, there you go. So that leads me to my quarterback. Dak Prescott last night, would you believe, you said he was to blame for most of this, would you believe he had the 4th best QBR in the whole league yesterday of a 77? And it was only a tick off your guy, Mahomes boy, and we're going to talk about him in a few minutes, who had kind of a shaky game at Detroit, but it was just a tick behind him. It could have been 3rd. Guess who was 2nd? Chase Daniel was 2nd. He barely played again.
He had a better QBR than Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. He did.
Let that sink in for a second.
Like
so that just lets you know what QBR.
Yeah,
But how about this here?
Wait, I thought it was Mike.
Go ahead.
So Dak Prescott still leads the National Football League in QBR through 4 weeks, and Shannon Sharpe's trying to trash him. And he had to do it last night. I thought he was terrific last night.
Of course
he had to do it with no running game at all, which brings me to Ezekiel Elliott. You say, this team goes as Zeke goes. He went nowhere.
Exactly.
He had 1.9. No. If you're a $100 million running back, you didn't give Jerry his money's worth last night, because I covered all those dynastic teams of the 90s, and trust me, everybody went into every Emmitt Smith game saying, we're going to take Emmitt Smith away. We got to take him away. We got to make Troy throw it, because they're not a passing team. They're a running team. Could people stop Emmitt Smith?
They did.
No, they did not.
Did he average 100 yards a game?
Well, he just kept running over people, around people, through people. Yeah.
You remember that big play? When they hit Alvin Harper in San Francisco, that broke the game open?
Yeah, sure, I was there.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the point is, everybody tried to stop him, and nobody could stop him. And now you say, everybody tries to stop Ezekiel Elliott, and they do. And that was pathetic last night. He gets 35 yards on 17. Are you kidding me? That's horrific. 18 carries. 18 for 35?
When the Cowboys can't run the football, they can't win. If you look at the stats, bear this out. And we love analytics.
Nobody can win when they can't win.
Well, we ain't talking about nobody. We're talking about the Cowboys. We'll talk about somebody else with our next topic. But right now, we're dealing with the Cowboys. The Cowboys Dak is 1-8 when Zeke is held under 75 yards rushing. Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator, came in saying, we will stop Zeke Elliott. We're going to put the ball.
If you're any good, you just run. You get more than 30. You should get 35 on one carry. If you're a $100 million running back, you get 35 on a carry. What happened, Shannon? He just hasn't been that guy. He looks slow to me out of the blocks. He looks a little heavy to me.
Your quarterback has not signed his contract because he wants more money. If he's a $200 million guy, he's got to deliver them. He's got to deliver the goods, and he did not deliver the goods. You can place it on the hold on, and you keep talking about New Orleans front 4 got 4 offensive line, number 1 draft pick.
All 4 first round.
What about Cowboys? What they got in the offensive line?
Well, they got their butts whipped.
No.
I'm just telling you. I'm admitting it.
They got 3.
Yeah, they got their butts whipped last night.
And they got a number 1 running back.
Could they protect last night? They could not protect. My quarterback was under duress and under fire the whole night long, and guess what? He was really good.
I can't tell.
Yeah,
and they didn't win.
Right away.
It comes Skip. Where did they come?
Got 3 mistakes in the first half. The first one, 3rd and 4 from their 31. If we could see this play, this is 7:13 left in the second quarter. He hits Jason Witten with a rope up the seam. It's just a rope for 16 yards. And then what happened, Shannon?
Fumble.
A.J. Klein gets him from behind and strips him.
Yeah,
that's a guy who hadn't fumbled in like 8 years.
Yes.
And again, if that's going to happen, I'm going to lose that game, because that gets them across the 50. We're going to at least get a field goal out of that one.
But hold on. Pro Football Focus take those plays into account, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
No, on Jason Witten it would, not on Dak Prescott.
No, but I'm saying you got to factor that in. That's football.
Okay.
You tell me you say interceptions, you say fumbles, you say batted balls. All those are plays that happen during the course of a football game.
Okay.
That's a play that happens during the course of a football game.
So here's the course that happened late in the first half, and it's still a 6-3 game, and it's 1:36 left, and it's 4th and 1 at the Dallas 43, and I immediately type all caps punt, because I don't trust Zeke. What do we see early in the fourth quarter here in the Coliseum in that playoff game against the Rams? He went nowhere. Yeah. And this time he had to scratch and claw to get somewhere, and he lost the football going to the ground. You can't do it. You're going to lose at New Orleans if you give them, remember, you're going to go for 3, and instead you give them a short field 3 at the buzzer to walk off the second half,
Skip,
right?
All this can be traced back to Houston last year. You remember when they didn't go for it on 4th down and they punted, and what did Jerry Jones say after the game? He thought they should have gone for it on fourth down. If you notice,
I'm sure he's sitting up there saying, I just paid this guy $100 million. He's got to get this one and hold on to the football.
All I'm saying is that Gary has planted the seed in his head coach's mind that if you notice, more times than not, on 4th and 1, they're going for it.
Yep.
Even against Jason Garrett's better judgment, because the owner has said they should be going for it. You got 3 number 1 draft picks at offensive line that's making top dollar. You got a running back that's getting paid top dollar. But you also have a quarterback that Skip Bayless says that one of the best in the league.
He is.
And
I would have called at least some kind of zone read option keeper for Dak Prescott because they don't use it
That
enough.
ain't what they do with my homeboy. They drop him back and say throw it. That ain't what they do with Tom Brady. They drop him back and say throw it.
Your homeboy saved the game yesterday because he ran it up the middle. He ran it.
Well, your guy didn't.
If he didn't run it yesterday, we're having a whole different conversation because they lose.
Well, the conversation,
the
conversation you and I are having this morning is your guy didn't win. That's what the conversation.
My guy did everything in his power with a half an Amari and no Michael Gallup to win.
Hey,
everything in his power.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip.
And by the way, speaking of my running back, the other running back was better last night. Kamara just looked better than Zeke.
And the quarterback too.
You said that. You
the quarterback looked better too.
Sorry.
The quarterback looked better too.
He did not look better. He had a QBR of 17, 18. He had 18, and my quarterback had 77.
Where did your quarterback come?
Wow. How can you argue with that, Shannon? That's like a complete wipeout.
Where did your quarterback
play?
Your quarterback came to my and had one of these and a hot ale. That's what your quarterback came to my restaurant and had.
My quarterback would not lure himself to ever go to your restaurant. Trust me. It's beneath his dignity. It's on the wrong side of his town.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. I want to know on a Hail Mary. Dak Prescott threw a Hail Mary from the 50-yard line. Why in the hell the ball land on the 10?
Because you should know this if you know anything about football. They slot blitzed him, and the slot blitzer came free. And by the way, I thought it was roughing the passer. They're not going to call that on New Orleans at New Orleans. That's roughing the passer. That's a shot right in the kisser. That's roughing.
No, he did. He turned to the side. Look
at
Dak
roughing.
Look at Dak begging.
It should have been another play, but no. So So Shannon Sharpe asked, how did he only throw it 45 yards? He got hit in the mouth.
No, he did. He got hit.
He got his jaw broken.
All I know is I saw OBJ running around and slinging 65 yards. Now, one guy's a wide receiver. The other guy's a quarterback asking for $170 million.
Well,
Skip Bayless.
Trust me, he can throw it 70 yards.
No, he can't.
Yeah, he
Skip.
can.
Go,
I'm glad you're bringing up this video for me because I would have forgotten that. That should have been one more play.
Only a handful.
Heck, I don't know. Maybe they could have kicked a field goal from there.
In my career, watching the game and studying the game, I think I've only seen it twice where on a Hail Mary you bring a blitz because normally people are afraid to do that, Skip.
Well, he did. Dennis Allen coached his tail off last night, and he was on top of it from the start.
Because a lot of times, Skip, what do you guys do? The guys run around, buy time. I'm not going to give you that time to let the guys get further down the field so you can hit. Because Aaron Rodgers does this a lot. He'll pivot, run to one side, and heave it. Dennis Allen says, no, I'm not going to give you that opportunity. Skip, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to this. The Cowboys, and I know, look, I'm not saying Dak eventually will not be a great quarterback because he's vastly improved from what he was his first 3 years. But this is a running football team, and when they can run it and play action off of it, it makes them very dangerous. But the thing is, Miami is not very good. Neither is Washington because we saw that debacle, what they had earlier. And the Giants, we saw what the Giants were with Eli.
I told you Friday, the season started this last night.
Yeah, that's what I told you.
Okay.
Because, so, in other words...
So they lost 12-10 to a really good team, just reeking of revenge at New Orleans, in maybe the toughest place to play in all of pro football.
But you remember last year?
Wow, interesting.
You remember last year when the roles were reversed? How you came in here doing cartwheels when they beat them on Thursday night?
Well, who expected that? They were
I thought he was Simone Biles. He was coming here flipping and turning the one handstand. You were just turning over and over. My defense, that's Drew Brees.
I haven't finished about my quarterback because late in that game, He was so good. Did you see? Could we see that 3rd and 12 from the 12 when you're probably doing cartwheels and handstands?
I know it's over.
Place?
I know it's over. They don't matter.
What did my quarterback do?
What do you do?
He just stands up and finally hits him. Look at this with the man hanging all over him. What a throw that is. Under pressure to save the game. Look at this with the guy hanging all over him.
He threw the ball done gone.
He had guys hanging on him all night long. He barely.
Skip, he only got hit 3 times.
Yeah, and then how about the throw up the seam to little Randall Cobb after this? Could we see the one?
Yeah,
this is his best throw of the night.
Yeah.
Because by the way, this is actually 3rd and 20 from the 12-yard line.
That
again.
Was pretty.
3rd and 20.
Yeah.
I'll give you that
what
one.
a shot that was. And you know what it made me wonder? This is my first issue. That's what a sweet throw. I thought for a second he might just be free, might be gone.
You thought that.
And I thought somebody was really.
You thought that. You thought
what a
that.
throw that
and then
is.
you're like, oh, he's not free.
Oh, he was almost free. And the point is that my quarterback threw that ball, and I'm thinking, why didn't we get to see more of that through the game? And I think it was the first night, Kellen Moore, that I needed to see more. Kellen Moore. Because Kellen Moore coached and called plays last night not to lose that game.
You know what I'm
and
seeing?
They lost
Skip,
it.
you know what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm seeing? I don't know if anybody at home is seeing this.
Yeah.
When the Cowboys lose, it's everybody else's fault except Dak. It's the offensive line got manhandled. Zeke is not living up to that money. Kellen Moore is not calling plays.
If Dak had a QBR of 18, I would own that. But Shannon Sharpe, you got to deal with that. He had a 77. It was the 4th best in the whole NFL. And you're saying he's to blame for this loss.
And I told you, I said,
interesting.
Skip Bayless, be careful about this QBR.
Wow.
I told you,
I love
what
it.
was Tom Brady's QBR in the Super Bowl? But he won the game.
No, it was a terrible QBR.
Okay, but he won the game.
Tom Brady had a 10 yesterday.
No, I'm not talking about yesterday.
Terrible.
No.
It's terrible.
I told you.
Let's see, Tom Brady had a 10. Dak had a 77.
No, Skip. No, Skip. No, I said, Skip, be careful. So I'm saying which is more important, QBR or win? I said, Tom Brady had a 26. You say, but he won the game.
Well,
so I went and
won
did
the
it.
Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your guy had a 77.
Yeah.
But what did he take to my restaurant? He took that 77, and I had 77 L's hung up in the restaurant.
Did you?
So, yeah,
Oh, so nice of
77 L's.
Watch what happens
Thoughtful.
if the number 1 and number 2 receiver get healthy. Watch what happens because the first 3 games will start happening over and over and over again. And I loved what I saw from my defense, and you must be getting a little scared of my defense.
Skip,
because
it
looked big
Teddy
time.
Bridgewater.
Yeah.
That was Teddy Bridgewater.
So let's write it off as Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, that's what Dak said.
Okay.
Dak said, oh, yeah, y'all already got it built in. If we beat the Saints, they didn't have Drew Brees. Well, we don't have to write that story.
Yeah.
You know why we don't have to write it? Because you didn't win. And they didn't have Drew Brees. So take that L back to Dallas.
You like Robert Quinn last night?
Listen, Robert Quinn on turf, Skip.
The mighty Quinn.
Robert Quinn is built for turf because if you remember what he was like he was a half a sack away from tying Michael Strahan's record. He has wiggle and he's bendy.
We stole him. 6th-round pick.
He's
stolen.
He's perfect for turf in Jerry World. So anytime he gets on turf, now he's gonna be unbelievable on turf because he has that kind of ability. He can wiggle you and he's flexible.
Wow.
But
love it.
At the end of the day, but if you don't score with 10 points, you're not going to win very many games.
Well, here come the Packers next week. And guess what they can't do? They can't stop the run. So maybe Zeke will get his mojo back. Is that possible?
I don't know what y'all can do. But hold on. Robert Quinn got to deal with Bakhtiari. Bakhtiari is greater than number one.
He missed the
that's
second half.
Bilaga, the right tackle.
Okay.
But hold on, Skip.
They're
When your $21 million defensive lineman, when he gonna show up?
I don't know.
And stop hitting quarterbacks.
He had one
in the leg.
big play last night, and he got 15 yards.
Yeah, you can't hit the quarterback. Skip, you know you can't hit the quarterback in the legs. When?
Well, he was falling, so.
No, he wasn't falling. No, he wasn't falling. Stop it.
Ducking under.
Don't do this, Skip. Don't do that.
No, I agree.
Skip,
that was the only play that he, quote unquote, made all night. You might see more.
But at some point in time, Skip, you're going to have to stop shifting the blame to everybody else.
I'm not shifting. My quarterback played great.
No, he
last
didn't.
night.
No, he didn't.
Did.
No.
Under the
Nice that I'm
circumstances,
hearing
he
this.
played great.
Skip, wins and losses.
Played great.
No, wins and losses. Skip, Skip, I told
you know what? My team still has a 1-game lead in the NFC East, so I'm good today.
Hold on.
I'm actually happy today.
But just think about where you were Thursday night at about 5:45 when the Eagles were down 14. and you were thinking you're going to New Orleans with a chance to have a commanding lead, 4-0 to 1-3. And my, here we are talking about it today on a Monday, and you're a game back.
Then I saw the Eagles give up like 400 yards passing to Aaron Rodgers, and I said, we got
But your guy ain't Aaron Rodgers.
We got
Your guy isn't Aaron Rodgers.
No, my guy threw for like 400 against the Eagles in the fourth quarter and overtime last year. So,
That's over 2 games. But what's my guy going to do to you? My guy ain't Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, I know what we did to your guy twice last year.
My guy ain't Teddy Bridgewater.
Rodgers is 6-2 against the Cowboys, Shannon.
What is he?
6-2 as a starter.
What's his record against
the
Dak?
Cowboys.
2-1 against Dak.
Who's that?
Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
6-2.
Dak's QBR in those 3 games is an average of 80 versus Aaron Rodgers' 62.
I took it off my
80 to 62.
It became too complicated.
Yeah.
It became too complicated.
Yeah.
People didn't know if they wanted it with avocado. People didn't know if they wanted it with jicama. So I took it off the menu.
It's a delicacy, and your restaurant is too low rent.
No.
Sorry.
That's where you get the best food from. Them little dives, hole in the wall.
Say that to you. That's rude.
That's okay.
All right.
I grew up in a low rent barbecue
I served
joint.
We're moving
the
on.
best scales in America.
Hey guys, this is Jenny Taft, and I have a quick message for you about Noom. Some people think that all diet and weight loss plans are the same, but that's because they haven't tried Noom. Noom is a new, totally different approach to losing weight and getting healthy that uses psychology and small goals to help you change your habits, making it easy to lose the weight and keep it off for good. Noom combines the power of technology with real human support, offering as little or as much help as you want along the way. And since Noom is an app, it's always with you and easy to use, which makes it super easy to stay on track and reach your goals. It's just as simple to get started. Just go online, answer a few quick questions, and they'll create a personalized program just for you. Noom can help you lose your old way of thinking about food and dieting. So what do you have to lose? Visit Noom.com/podcast, NOOM.com/podcast, and start your 14-day trial today. Change your habits, change your mind, change for good with Noom.
No mercy.
All right, the Patriots had their toughest test this season in Buffalo and squeaked out a 16-10 win. Tom Brady completed under 50% of his passes for 150 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick in the end zone. The Bills held the Patriots to only 11 first downs and 224 total yards of offense. So, Shannon, was this more about blaming Brady or crediting the Bills?
Tom Brady. Skip Bayless, Pro Football Focus, said Tom Brady, through the first 3 games, has been the best quarterback in the NFL.
They did.
The best quarterback. The best quarterback in the NFL is supposed to deliver. Because what has happened is I guess Pro Football Focus doesn't take into account. Miami Dolphins had the 32nd ranked defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers had the 31st ranked defense. The New York Football Jets have the 17th ranked defense. I guess they didn't take that into consideration. But it'd be a great luxury to have if you're a quarterback and you can score 10 points from an offensive standpoint and still win the game. That would be an unbelievable luxury to have. Patrick Mahomes boy has yet to score fewer than 26 in his life. Brady, bad interception in the end zone, 2 first downs in the second half, a QBR of 10.
10.
10.
Horrendous.
Not T-E-N, T-I-N. Because that's what he played like.
Really?
That's what he moved like. The 10 man.
Really? Wow.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And that's
ashamed of myself.
I
don't play for the
Brady.
Patriots.
He's the best. He's the best. I keep telling you. And now see what's going to happen, Jenny. Excuse me. What's going to happen now? He plays Washington, the Giants, and the Jets. He'll put up big numbers, and everybody say, "Oh, you see, I told you, he right back." No. What happens?
Is there any test on his schedule?
Hold on.
Seriously.
What happens is that as you start to age, it gets more difficult for you to put up performances like you used to back to back to back to back.
Okay.
It gets harder for you to do that. You're still a great player, but it just gets hard for you to summon that up week after week after week. And I thought Buffalo did a great job of taking away his first option. The front four did a great job of stopping the run and making him take that first option away. And they played it really physical. I mean, they were very, very physical. This is a very, very physical team. But Brady has to play better. That mistake in the end zone, you can't take, especially when you know the game is going to be nip and tuck.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a game where you're going to get into a shootout. Points are going to be at a premium. So 3 points really could have been the difference in the ball game. If Buffalo could have had anything, anybody, any competent, breathing, one-celled amoeba that could play quarterback, they would have beat them yesterday. Josh Allen was terrible, and then they bring Matt Barkley in, and Matt Barkley was even worse. They had anybody that could play, they would have beat the Patriots yesterday. But Tom Brady was awful. He was god-awful, and the defense was unbelievable. And again, this notion that Coach Belichick goes along for the ride. Yesterday was just another glimpse. Because I just want people to know that defense has really only given up, 13 points? Because we got a pick six and I think a scoop and score. Nah, Skip. Nah. Brady was awful. And I want to see you defend that.
You done?
Done.
So I'm going to use your argument against you because you just told me that the Patriots had played nobody until yesterday, right?
Yeah.
That's what you said? So yesterday they played a quarterback who was the equivalent of a one-cell or less than a one-cell amoeba, right? The two quarterbacks. I actually thought Matt Barkley was actually a little better than Josh Allen.
No, he wasn't.
But the point is, you're telling me that it's all about Belichick's defense and they've played nobody with a quarterback? So how can you say that?
No. I'm talking about Brady and what he was doing.
Well, you just said it's all about Belichick and his defense. And I'll give you this. Their defense looks to be the best I've seen in maybe 5 or 6 years.
No, this might be the best ever for Coach Belichick in New England. In New England.
I don't think it's better than that one that put that number on the St. Louis Rams.
Well, it's going to be close when it's all. Well, I don't know. At the end of the day, Skip, you're going to have to win the title for you to be better than that. But right now, they're trending in that direction.
I just don't know if they rush the passer quite as well as they're going to have to if they come up. It's not going to be till the playoffs they play anybody.
Right.
But here's the point. I told you all last week, Buffalo has a top 5 legit defense, and you scoffed and laughed at me all week long. Nope, they are very legit. In fact, I can make the case that was Tom Brady and the offense's toughest test they will face all regular season long. Show me that I'm wrong about that. Point to another game where they're going to have a tougher road defensive test. You got the Ravens. You love the Ravens. They just gave up their second straight 500-yard day. Okay, so you love that?
No.
I don't know. Where else? At Philly with that secondary? Really? Tom Brady will throw a big party. They'll throw a parade on that defense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was tough. This was the 3-0 Buffalo Bills, a division arch rival, and that place gets crazy for the Patriot visit, especially when it's warm and everybody can really tailgate and get all lubricated before kickoff. And Brady goes in with like 3 hands tied behind his back because he doesn't have his left tackle, Isaiah Wynn. You know, he hadn't all year had his starting center, David Andrews. And let's look at his receiving corps, shall we? There's obviously no Gronk, and there's now obviously no AB, which led to no Demaryius Thomas because they dumped Demaryius to add AB. So now you're down him. Belichick finally, for the first time in his career, took a wide receiver in the first round of the draft, and he immediately got hurt, and he's on IR until midseason, right? N'Keal Harry. And there's not even Ben Watson. And I think they were excited to have Benjamin Watson back just because, you know, he at least has some rapport with Tom Brady. So you go into the game, and guess who got the most targets? 10 targets were thrown to little James White coming out of the backfield.
That's not unusual.
That's all you got. And he did catch 8 balls. But if you look down the rest of the way, how about Philip Dorsett? 9 targets, and he caught 2. You love that? Because he's just not good enough. He's just a guy out there. I know he can run a little bit, but he's just another guy. And that brings me to Josh Gordon, and you say he looks like he runs with a piano on his back. Yesterday, he looked to me like he had 2 pianos tied on his back because he did catch 3 balls for 46 yards, but it's just hard to get him open and get him the ball, especially against that secondary. That brings me to the run game. I don't know what's happened to Sony Michel and the run game, but it has gone south. They led the playoffs in rushing last year, and now they're just ho-hum. They had 23 carries for 74 yards yesterday, and they couldn't really make a dent. They couldn't force any play action, and that led to a pass rush that was all over Tom Brady from the start, and it's the most I've seen him harassed in the pocket since the AFC Championship game at Denver 2015. Remember that game?
Yep.
They were all over him from the start. Wade Phillips' defense featuring Von Miller, they were all over him. And if you can move Tom Brady off his spot, like you say, he's 42 years of age, he never was very athletic to start with.
Right.
So you're going to have big success if you make him move 1 second. If he has to flinch right or left and come to his second, third, fourth reads, you're going to have a field day against Tom Brady, and they did, which is why he had an abysmal QBR of 10. It was one of the worst performances of his career, and you could probably make the case it was the worst.
But Skip, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about he played Buffalo because all you do is hark back to, did you see what he did against the Legion of Boom in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter? You always love to go back. See, you a highlight when Tom Brady lights someone up. Oh, that's the Legion of Boom, or Bobby Wagner and Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas. You'll go back to that. No,
Did he do it?
No. What did he do yesterday?
He threw for 124 in the fourth quarter.
He had 150 yesterday in the whole game.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
You want to do 246 against Atlanta in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter and overtime?
I'm looking at that
What
right
else
there.
you want to do?
10.
How about 138 against Saxonville in the fourth quarter of the AFC Championship game?
10.
Okay, do you think he'll be held to that?
For the best quarterback in the NFL.
I just detailed why he was 3 hands tied
Well,
behind his
hold on.
back.
But no, that's not what you said.
And
last week when we did it, you didn't say why he was.
I did. I told you were going in there. I said they're going to have a hard time.
No, but you told me why. Because he's like ping, ping. He's doing all this. And Pro Football Focus gave you all this, that he's still the guy.
And I didn't mention Julian Edelman went into the game with cracked ribs. You know what it feels like to play with cracked ribs, right?
I've had some rib issues before, but hold on. The Hall of Famer, that would be me, Jen.
Yes,
the guy
that's
that's won 3 Super Bowls,
Yeah.
also me.
Also
They
you.
said that when you're on that field, you're 100% healthy. That's what Skip Bayless
No
keep telling me.
excuses.
So I don't want no excuses. I don't want to hear about Amari having an MRI. I don't want to hear nothing about Julian Edelman. Because guess
They
what?
both look really limited to me.
No,
yesterday.
hold on. So when Julian Edelman catch a pass, I don't want to see him do it in the first down. I don't want to see that.
Well, see, Tom could have gone out before kickoff and said, you 3 come down here, except he was at Buffalo, and nobody's going to come help him, right? Because the Bills fans aren't going to catch him.
No, Skip, don't make no excuses, Skip.
Yeah,
Just say he didn't. Skip, don't make no excuses.
they're all legit.
Skip, just say
Legit.
Just say he didn't play well.
Well, I will
just say he
tell
didn't
you
play
this.
well.
He made one great throw to start off with. Can we see that throw to the little man to James White? Little wheel route, little rainbow up the sideline. Tell me this isn't good. Tell me this isn't vintage Brady. But he had time. He had time. Was that not a sweet throw?
Yeah.
That set up the first touchdown. Look at this. That is vintage. And if you'll just give him a second to throw, that would have happened all day.
I guarantee
and that
you.
was the last time he had a second to throw.
I guarantee you, there are 45 quarterbacks that can make that throw if you give him that kind of time. 45.
Wrong.
45.
Yeah, he's been making it for 20 years, but that's okay.
With that kind of time, absolutely.
So then we go to the Micah Hyde plate, and it was horrendously wrong. But Micah Hyde made he deked him. He fooled him because he came off the man he was covering, and he tricked him, and he got him. And I will give you this. This is a really bad idea. See Micah Hyde just bolted off. I can't see who's over there on the side, but he had somebody else, and he came off his man and completely fooled him.
He did.
Okay? Good job, Micah Hyde. But Micah Hyde's a really good football player, and he has been for a long time. He was for the Packers. He's been playing in this league for a long time at a very high level. So he got him, and that was the turning point of that game. Once he made that cardinal sin mistake, which you cannot make it. Remind me of the Reggie Ragland play at Kansas City in the first quarter of the AFC Championship
Guess who he
game.
wouldn't have deep?
Yeah.
Because my homeboy would have been looking at him and threw it right there. He'd still been thought he was looking at that guy right there, and boom, touchdown.
Might have hit the referee in the
No,
face.
don't do that. Don't do that, Skip.
You never know.
Because we're going to talk about my homeboy a little later.
Boy, I hope so, because I can't wait.
Skip, that's why he practiced the no look. Because see, what happens is that Tom Brady was looking at the guy, and he said, "Oh, you're not finna throw it to him, so let me peel off and grab this pick right quick."
Okay.
Wop, got him.
Okay. So before we leave this alone, I've also got to defend Jonathan Jones for the hit he laid on Josh Allen, which I'm not sure changed the game because neither of the quarterbacks could play. But I could just see this. This was a crucial play early in the fourth quarter of this game. It's 3rd and 8. And Josh Allen says, I can run because that's probably what he does best. And I'm going to defend Jonathan Jones here because I don't know what else you do. He is stopped flat-footed. He's trying to hold his ground. And all of a sudden, Josh Allen lowers his helmet. What are you're trying to stop the...
Whoa.
He's trying to... Wait a second. Josh Allen is 6'5", 240. Jonathan Jones is... What is he? 5'10", 180. So what's he going to do? And he turns his head sideways. He didn't just try to hit him with the crown.
At no point in time can the defender helmet make contact with the offensive player's helmet or shoulder area?
Was he the one who was stationary? Was Josh Allen trying to run through him?
Skip, it doesn't.
Did Josh Allen actually initiate the contact?
Skip, the defenders have been trying to explain this to the NFL for the longest.
Okay.
They said, NFL, when the guy catches the ball, he's going to brace for a hit.
Yeah.
I'm looking to hit him in his chest, but he braces and comes into contact with me.
Yeah.
They say, well, go even lower. That should have been a flag. That's all. As simple as that, Skip.
And it was a flag, but everybody wanted him ejected.
No.
Okay.
It was. I don't believe, Skip. I don't believe it was egregious like Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah.
I don't believe it was egregious like Derek Barnett.
Yeah.
Those are ejectionable offenses.
I
don't believe this was an ejectionable offense.
Yep. Al Riveron's statement on this: we did not feel the contact rose to the level of disqualification.
I totally agree.
Thank you.
I totally agree.
Was it a turning point? I guess it was, but he had played so poorly, thrown the ball so poorly that Matt Barkley, Josh Allen, what's it really matter? Was it going to change the outcome?
Probably
it was 16-10 at that point, and it ended up 16-10.
Probably not.
Probably not. So, but I got you. Tom Brady stunk it up yesterday, albeit with about 10 legit excuses, but
No, Skip.
Yeah,
we don't do excuses here.
I just did.
We don't do that here,
He
Skip.
deserves
We
every one
don't
of
do
them.
that here.
But as you said, at Redskins, Giants on a Thursday
Yes.
night, and then Jets on a Monday night.
Heading
I
to
don't know. I
Washington.
kind of like New England in those games.
Yeah, I bet
feeling
you do.
you're
I
gonna
bet you
go
kind
with
of do.
the
I
Patriots.
bet you
I
kind
think
of do.
I'm going to kind of like New England to win just about every game from here on because the schedule's not that hard.
No mercy.
Hey, football fans, are you an Amazon Prime member? Did you know that you have Thursday Night Football? Yeah, that's right. Thursday Night Football has returned to Prime Video for a third season. The cool thing is, you can catch all the action on your TV, on the web, or on your mobile device anywhere in the world. And the experience is next level. With Prime Video's X-Ray feature, you can access next-gen stats, play history, and team information. And now it's available on iOS, Android, Fire tablets, and Fire TV. If you're ready to hear a new take on the game, you can switch over to sport broadcast legends Hannah Storm and Andrea Kramer for the play-by-play. So, if you don't have cable or simply want to experience the future of football, tune in this Thursday. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern and kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. Also available on Fox and NFL Network. NFL Network simulcast subject to change. Thursday Night Football is presented by Bud Light Platinum.
No mercy.
The Browns now sit atop of the AFC North. Baker Mayfield had nearly 350 passing yards with a touchdown and one pick, but running back Nick Chubb ran for 165 yards and 3 touchdowns, including an 88-yard run to ice the game. And after this one, Baker wanted to make sure everyone knows he didn't forget about the early season criticism. Take a listen.
The win's great, but I hope everybody keeps the same energy. Throw us in the trash. We won't forget it.
I've heard that before. Shannon, how surprising was the Browns' win?
Skip, I'm not surprised that they won the game. I'm surprised how easy they made it look in winning the game. And I think the Browns need to play through Nick Chubb. The Ravens didn't take anything away, Skip. You know, if you don't take anything away from an offense, you let them run the ball at will, you let them pass the ball at will, you're going to lose that game. And they're going to put a big chunk of yards up on you. That's why the Ravens gave up over 500 yards. Now, the interception really wasn't Baker's fault. Jarvis made a business decision. He said, I'm not going to open up a business in there today.
I agree.
Maybe tomorrow or on the other side I'll open up a business.
By the way, in the third quarter, he left with a concussion. So,
True.
Yep.
Yes. So, and sometimes you have to make those kind of decisions, Skip, for health reasons. But I thought Baker played well. He was very accurate. He was very decisive. Chubb ran the ball extremely well. Skip, this dude, he doesn't get enough credit. Nick Chubb does not get enough credit because I guess he doesn't have the name. He's not a Todd Gurley or he's not a Saquon or Ezekiel Elliott.
Yep.
But Skip, he for real. He can run it.
Remember, this is the guy standing at the carousel at the airport
Yes.
when he arrived, and the Browns
I
fans
love
said,
that.
"You play football?"
Right.
Remember that was on
Yeah,
Hard Knocks.
exactly.
Hard Knocks. No one knew who he was.
And
No one recognized him.
And Georgia should be ashamed of themselves. They had Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, and Sonny Michel on the same team.
Can you imagine? Not bad.
But we go talk about that another
Different
time.
day.
That may be why Georgia beat Oklahoma when Baker Mayfield was the quarterback in the national semifinal, because they're running Chubb and Sony and Chubb and Sony, and it's hard to stop those guys.
It's very hard. But, Skip, I like the Browns coming into the season. I expected them to win. I said they would win the division.
But then you got off that.
No. I still said they were going to win the division, but we undervalue the Ravens. You like the Steelers. You still want to ride with the Steelers.
I did until the quarterback had Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, Tommy John surgery. But, Skip, I still believe the Ravens are a good team. But in a situation like they're in, they can't turn the football over. They need to play with the lead to keep a situation where they can do the run pass. When they fall behind like they fall behind, it kind of takes the threat of Lamar's legs out of the equation because they need to throw to catch up. It's when they have the lead, and now we're going to dictate to you when we're going to throw the football. We're going to dictate to you when we're going to run the football. When you fall behind 18, 21 points, you're not dictating to anybody. You're throwing, and we know you're going to throw.
Yeah.
But give the Browns credit. I thought they played really well. They took the ball away from the Ravens. Myles Garrett, the Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Defensively, they got after Lamar, got a couple of hits on him, forced some turnovers. But this goes to Freddie K. Freddie Kitchens, the offensive coordinator, head coach. I thought he did a great job of calling the game yesterday and took advantage of some things that he saw in that Ravens defense.
So, my takeaway from yesterday's game was Baker Mayfield is underrated as hell. That's what I think. Underrated as hell. Because last week we heard from somebody.
Oh, yes, we did.
That he was
Sexy
overrated.
Rexy.
Yeah, Sexy Rexy.
Sexy.
Underrated as hell. And by the way, I hope that AB engages Baker Mayfield in a little Twitter spat every week because it just reinflates the chip on Baker's shoulder. Because AB was getting after him. It was getting low blow, man. It was. So it was deleted tweet. That's what it was, right?
Baker don't need to listen.
Yeah,
just let it go,
Baker, let those go. That one you can let it pass.
But again, chip on shoulder,
I know.
two-time walk-on who won the Heisman. This is how this fuels him. And now all he's done is in 3 games against the Baltimore Ravens, 3 games, 2 last year, 1 this year, he has averaged 353 yards passing. So to me, at least against Baltimore, they should play through Baker Mayfield because that's extraordinary to me because I used to respect Baltimore, and now Baltimore is starting to get shredded, especially by Baker Mayfield.
But Skip, if you look at Chubb runs the ball extremely well against that defense. And when you can run the ball, now Baker's play action, you see the tight end running scot-free. You see Jarvis Landry having big down the seam off the play action, who played really well yesterday.
But they threw it first to run it. They started throwing right out of the box. And by the way, my other big takeaway from yesterday was this team does not have to play through Odell. They just don't, because Odell was little to no factor.
You try to cause some confusion. So you about to cause some confusion,
Okay,
Skip.
well, I'm just saying, Odell had a career low 2 catches for 20 yards. Worst in his career, 2 for 20. Yeah. And
how many targets?
What happened?
That's the question. How many targets, Skip?
Well, I don't even remember.
You
can look it up. But the point is, what was the final score?
They won a whole lot to a few, 40-25?
Yeah. 40-25. They scored 40 points with no Odell Beckham Jr. as a factor in this game. 2 catches for 20 yards. So my point is that we're going to talk later.
He had 7 targets.
7, okay. Jarvis had 10 targets maybe?
Caught 8 of them for $167.
Yeah. Remember, Jarvis only lasted 3 quarters because he got concussed at the end of 3 quarters. And Ricky Seals-Jones, once undrafted, caught 3 balls for almost 90 yards. Well, Baker can do that. That's what he was doing last year. He was throwing to no-names and nobodies, and they were shredding the Ravens. And again, yesterday, I thought he outplayed, like last week, you said you would take Lamar Jackson as the guy you would build around of the first and second year quarterbacks. And I said, no, I'm taking Baker. And I got to tell you, Lamar did not play very well yesterday because you have to keep in perspective. Cleveland didn't have Denzel Ward at one corner. They didn't have Greedy Williams at the other corner. They did not have Morgan Burnett at one of the safeties. So they're down 3 defensive backfield starters, and Lamar could only do that much. It just wasn't good enough.
They did a great job, Skip. They got after him. They had 4 sacks on him. They got a couple of hits on him. And the thing is that with this offense, the way you have to play, Skip, you really need to be really close or you need to be in the lead.
Yep.
Because if you fall behind too much and you force Lamar to just throw, that's not what he's good at. Yeah, he's a better passer, a much, much better passer than what he was last year. But that's not his forte. This notion that, I would much rather throw the ball than run it. But he's better at running than throwing it. And as he advances, he'll get better at throwing than running. But that's still a great asset to have. And if they can keep the game close or they can play with the lead, he's going to be even more lethal. It's when you fall behind by 21, Skip, that's not their forte. They're not coming back from that kind of
Nope,
deficit.
they are not. And speaking of Baltimore's defense, you once played for the Baltimore Ravens.
I did.
They've been there for 24 years, and it was a while back that you played for them, but they haven't been there that long. 24 years, but still, it's a pretty long time,
Yes.
almost a quarter of a century.
Yes.
This is the first time in their 24-year history they've allowed 500 back-to-back in 2 games.
Yeah.
500 yards they have allowed. Now, one was to Mahomes boy, Kansas City.
Yes.
Okay? But this was to Baker Mayfield in Baltimore. And I know Wink Martindale is one of the best interviews in all of sports, and he can be a comedian, and he can be prone to
hyperbole.
Wildly exciting and entertaining hyperbole. But Wink is going to turn into Stink Martindale if he's not careful, right?
Yes.
That's what he's going to start getting called because that stinks.
Yeah.
Right?
Because if you look at it, Skip, the Ravens ran the ball 29 for $173. That's 6 yards a clip.
Yep.
You can live with that, but you're behind. And when you're behind, you take the running game out of it. And they got behind so quick, and then it seems like the Cleveland went right down the field and scored. And then when Lamar turned the ball over, they're right back in the end zone. Now you change the dynamic of the game of how you want to play it.
Yep.
That's not how Baltimore wants to play. I know Lamar threw the ball really well against Miami, and he's had some games where he's thrown the ball well. But, Skip, all being said, they don't really want Lamar Jackson throwing the ball 34 times, 40 times.
I don't think they do either. I would agree. So, back to our man Odell. I think he was happy enough after the game because they had won at Baltimore and a little bit of a surprise, probably not to them, but to the rest of the NFL world. And he was the center of post-game attention because he had gotten into it with Marlon Humphrey. And then his coach, Freddie Kay, had defended him, saying, the refs allowed Marlon to choke him on the ground, which they did after he threw a
Marlon
punch.
deboed him.
Yeah, he did. He deboed him. But Odell, you can say Odell started it by throwing a punch.
He did.
Yeah, he did. I agree. Yeah. But I think Odell was happy to be the center of that attention. But if they continue to win with him getting 2 for 20, at some point he is going to throw a post-game or in-game fit.
It's a career low for him.
Yep.
He's not going to like that.
Skip, you can't. I know as much as you're one of the highest paid receivers and you're electric, you're dynamic, but you can't. If you're winning, no matter how bad your stats look, you can't say a word. Bite your tongue. As a matter of fact, go out and buy you another watch. Buy you another expensive item. But you better not say anything.
Another Rolls.
Why not?
Yeah.
Skip, people, they'll eat him up. The Browns fan will eat him up. They might love him, but if you complain that you're not getting your numbers, even though you're winning, that won't be a good look.
That's a good point. They're not going to like
I don't love that going forward. And they still have a tough stretch, but the last 8 games of this schedule are all winnable. And if they can find some sort of a flow with all their receivers in the run game and keep everybody relatively happy, they're going to be good.
You can't keep everybody happy because there are going to be times where Jarvis is going to have a game like that.
Agreed.
Just like there was a game in the Jets when Odell had that monster game and Jarvis didn't do a whole lot.
No.
Then you're going to have a game where the tight end goes off. It just flows like that. But Chubb needs to have games like that. Skip, not no 160, but
he broke
that. That 80-plus yarder. But he needs to be 90, 100 yards. He needs to be around that area for them to be successful.
Yep.
All right, they're back in action Monday night, 49ers.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs went down to the wire versus the Lions yesterday after starting the game down 10-0. Kansas City needed a touchdown with 20 seconds left to take the 34-30 lead. Mahomes passed for 315 yards but failed to find the end zone through the air in the first NFL regular season game indoors. So, Shannon, what grade would you give Mahomes yesterday?
A++.
Seriously?
Yes, down 10.
Are you trying to do stand-up comedy?
No, Skip Bayless. There was every reason.
Wait, A+?
Every reason for them to lose this game. Sammy Watkins dropped a touchdown early in the game. 3 fumbles. Every reason. Detroit was playing. The defense was getting going.
I thought you didn't like Detroit. You ridiculed them when Kyler Murray tied them in the opener. Remember that? You said, well, they're terrible. Okay. Well, that's what you told me.
I said they had backed off. They
okay.
didn't back off on this situation. They kept coming. They kept coming. And this was a road game. I mean, this was a home game as opposed to a road game. And yesterday, Mahomes, they were not able to connect on those deep balls. Because a lot of times, it's that 50-yarder, that 60-yarder that gets them going early. He normally finds Mecole Hardman, or he'll find Sammy Watkins. He'll find one of those guys deep, Robinson, but he wasn't able to connect. So they made him go, as we say, Skip, he had to do it the long way, make him go hard way. He's like, okay, y'all want me to go the hard way? I do it. Here, Kelsey, take this one. They out there doing globetrotter. They're doing globetrotter-ish out there on the field. You saw that, Jenny? Travis Kelsey catch one over the middle of the field, Skip Bayless. And say, Shady McCoy, you take this. This actually happened to me. I was in a game when Randy Moss did this and pitched it to Mo Williams at the end of the half and scored a touchdown. But, Skip, I want to get you see some of these throws. Watch my homeboy.
Really?
This is how comfortable my homeboy is at playing the quarterback position. DJ, give me a beat right quick. Skip. Ooh, the only quarterback in the NFL that can do this right here. DJ, we ready? Look at my homeboy. Watch my homeboy. You see what he did, Skip Bayless? And he said, you like this? He said, you like what I'm doing? Because I'm the best in the game right now, Real. Look back at him.
That's so fast.
Look back at him.
He's a globetrotter.
Look at that.
He said, I throw no looks. I run. Don't even worry about where I'm going. But I just know I'm going in the right direction.
Okay.
And Skip, when the rubber needs, Skip Bayless said, I need to see if they fall behind. Can he do it?
Yeah.
He said, you know what, Skip? I heard what you said, Skip. He said, I heard what you said the other day. You want to see if I can do it in a hostile environment. If we're down, can I do it? You better believe I can. And he went and did it, Skip Bayless. Skip, it would be a great luxury. The reason why Patrick Mahomes will always be in the MVP discussion is because he's always going to be in a shootout. And he's always going to have advanced numbers because his defense is really not that good, Skip. And this is why they're willing to give up 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey, is because they're trying to shore up the back end of that defense. But that young man through his first 2 years, his first 21 games of starting, nobody has ever been better. And he's only going to get better. And for him to go on the road and do what he did yesterday in the fashion in which he done it, I have no choice, Skip Bayless, but to give him an A+.
Wow, I must have watched a very different
Did
game.
you?
Maybe I need to get
What'd you
new
see?
LASIK, but I got like 2015 vision. I
You was
can
hoping
read everything.
You was hoping your quarterback could ever
I
do
know, maybe
like
it's
that.
my TV stuff.
You was hoping your
I
quarterback.
got to get a new TV, this black and white I got.
Different.
Yeah,
I
you
got
got
to get
to get rid of them rabbit ear TVs you got, them old rabbit ears.
What grade you see, Skip?
Well, all I know is I heard commentator after commentator through the night say, Patrick Mahomes did not have his best game. Patrick Mahomes struggled. So by his runaway MVP standards, I got to give him a C- because it was not very good. And again, did he throw a touchdown pass, Shannon? You gave him an A+ and he threw no touchdown passes. So he had thrown at least 2 in 14 straight games.
It's crazy.
That was 1 short of Peyton Manning's all-time record of 15.
Wow.
And I don't know, maybe he was choking because he's completely aware of stats. Maybe he was trying to force the ball.
No, he wasn't.
I don't know. And think about his degree of difficulty at Detroit, shall we? You know Darius Slay, right?
I do.
One of the better defensive backs in the league, and he couldn't go yesterday. I believe he had a hamstring.
Right.
And then we talked last week about Quandre Diggs, and he was the other starting corner, and he pulled up lame late in the first quarter. So all of a sudden, Detroit was down both its starting cornerbacks, and Patrick Mahomes couldn't throw 1 touchdown pass. He barely went over 300 yards against a team that was down both starting corners. Most teams, if they're down 2 starting corners, he would throw for 500 because it'd be like, pick one. Do you want him or do you want him?
But Skip,
right?
you know what happens?
Interesting.
When you fumble the ball, you lose possession.
Oh.
So it robbed him of continuous possession. But let's talk about who Mahomes was without. His starting left tackle, Eric Fisher.
Well, he's been without him the whole year.
No, he hadn't. He got hurt the second game.
Well,
But that's neither here nor there.
he's been without him since the first game.
No,
right?
we'll talk about that a little later, Skip.
Okay.
He was also without Tyreek Hill. Is Tyreek Hill any good?
No, he's good, but they're loaded at
Whoa.
Nicole Hardman stepped right in.
No, he ain't. Is he Tyreek Hill? Okay. He's also without his starting running back, Damon. Is he any good?
Yeah, well, didn't they do to Baltimore just what Baker did? And it was like 500-plus yards, right, with those guys? I don't think they missed a beat without Tyreek.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
obviously they missed a beat
Interesting.
because if they didn't miss a beat, those guys wouldn't be starting. There's a reason why you have starters and you have backups. The starters are better than the backups. That's why they're backups.
And then in all my years of watching and covering pro football, I don't know if I've ever seen a more bizarre 14-point swing as I saw at the goal line, because Kerryon Johnson looks like he's about to score, if we could please see this.
Yep.
And he smashes into the pile. At the bottom of the pile, he loses the football, and it's just sitting on the goal line. Whoops. And Bashad Breeland just says, well, look what I found. Look what I found. Oh,
There it is.
Oh, maybe I'll just run with it, and I'll just keep running. And he goes like 101 yards. They made it 100, but it's a 100-yard return, and it goes from Detroit's about to go up to they're up 7, right? So it's as big a 14-point swing as you will ever see in a football game.
The game was really funny because, Skip, if you think about it, you remember they're about to go in and kick a field goal, and Matthew Stafford, he fumbled.
Yeah.
And then you see another situation on the kick return. Mecole Hardman, he fumbled.
Yep.
And then Sammy Watkins had a first down.
Yep.
And they punched the ball out of his hands. He fumbles.
Okay. So what was the best play that Mahomes made in this game? Well, it wasn't with his arm. It was with his legs, because they face a do-or-die 4th and 8. And this is under a minute to go. And they're just dead. And look what happens. The Honolulu Blue Sea parts up the middle. And he doesn't run for 8 or 9. He runs for 16 yards. Because Coach Pencil has everybody playing man across the formation.
Yes.
And they got 2 on Kelsey, and everybody's running with their man, running with their man, and nobody is left at home. And he just goes right up the middle, and he can run a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's blazing fast, but he's pretty fast.
Whoa, hold on.
And that's it.
Hold on.
That's the ball game.
Now, you remember just last week, I think maybe my memory is not what it used to be. Maybe it was last week or the week before. Tom Brady scrambled for 3 yards, got a first down, and somebody came in here the next day, stood on top of the table, and said the 42-year-old got a first down.
Stand on top of the
Stand
table.
on top of the table, Jenny.
As
As a matter of fact,
I thought he looked quicker than ever because of pliability.
Jenny,
He actually looked pretty quick in Buffalo yesterday because he was running for his life.
Jenny, I was in my room, and somebody knocked on the door.
Sure.
He's like, can I talk to you for a second? I stuck my head out. He's like, Tom Brady got a first down. I said, man, leave me alone.
Really?
Yeah.
I
So
don't think I did
now,
that.
hey, my homeboy, you do what you have to
Remember
do
that
to win.
touchdown Tom ran for last year against
I remember
Buffalo?
that.
See?
In the fourth quarter.
There you go.
While Tom Brady was throwing for 182 yards, he actually won the game with his
I do
legs.
remember that.
All I'm saying is that Patrick Mahomes, Skip, sometimes it's not about throwing for 5 touchdowns, although I'm sure. But at the end of the day, as he said, we got to find ways to win games like this, because down the road, it's going to get tough. They got some tough games down the road, and they're coming. But they're going to be stronger for this. They're going to be real strong. And my homeboy, he might throw for 6 bands. He might throw for 6 bands.
How many touchdowns, though?
He'll be more than 40.
He got 0 at Detroit.
And he still got 10.
Wow, interesting.
Who lead the league?
Who leads the league in QBR? Help me out. Dak Prescott.
Your guy got an L. My guy ain't got no L.
They both had a 77 QBR, even though yours was a tick above mine.
Yeah, but your guy took an L.
Yeah.
Your guy took the L. He came to my restaurant
This guy
and
was
asked
playing
for.
at New Orleans against that defense versus at Detroit versus Coach Pencil's
I
defense.
remember that same defense that was at Detroit put 10 points on Tom Brady. You remember that, Skip? Just last year, that same defense held Tom Brady to 10 points.
Yeah.
And my homeboy went and got 30.
That same defense went to Arizona to start the year, and Kyler Murray threw all over them in the fourth quarter and almost brought them back to a win, but it ended up a tie.
Because
right?
Coach Pencil, as you call him, he called the dogs off. He didn't do that yesterday. He kept attacking. Skip, I mean, I don't really know what you want him to do. And they started playing what they call punt coverage on Kelsey. If you notice, they started having two guys line up over him. They're like, you're not throwing the ball to Kelsey.
Yep.
If you're going to have to go to Sammy Watkins, you're going to have to go to Hardman, you're going to have to go to someone else.
Well,
but we're not going to let you throw the ball to Kelsey.
On 4th and 8, they said you can't have Kelsey.
And then they double Kelsey. They played man across the board.
They did.
They rushed. But see, that's what happened.
They rushed 3.
They rushed 4 guys, Skip, but they got out of their lanes.
Yeah.
If you get out of your lanes.
They rushed 3.
No, they rushed 4. But you get out of your lanes, it's over.
Well, you just gave this guy an A+ for, by his standards, a mediocre performance. And they did win, but, okay, he beat Matthew Stafford. You love that?
Skip.
Wow.
The thing is, I understand Einstein, he did the relativity theory, but he did some other good things too. You can't just, he
Did you just compare Patrick Mahomes to Einstein?
Yeah!
Really?
Yeah, he's a prodigy.
What
Somebody
can
who
he
changed
do?
the world?
Prodigy.
Right?
What
Prodigy.
do?
You know the prodigy is, right? Prodigy. He's a prodigy.
Oh, I know what a prodigy is.
Something we may never see
Yeah.
again.
He's going to invent the next atomic bomb, right?
I'm feeling he's going to have a few more.
When he throw for
TD
6,
passes
when he
next
throw for
week.
6 bands and about 45 touchdowns to win the Super Bowl,
Yep.
that would be the equivalent.
Really?
Yeah, when that thing hit the NFL, will never be the same again.
Next
And we'll
up for
be there
the
to see
Chiefs,
it.
they play the Colts Sunday night, so he'll have a few more
And
opportunities.
where they play at?
I think they're on at
It
home.
better be home.
think
Kansas
it's
City, yeah, it is.
Skip, it better not be home, Skip. And they just gave up 3 touchdowns to Derek Carr.
They did.
Oh.
Could be interesting.
Well, Andrew Luck was playing last year and went there and stunk it up at Kansas City.
No mercy.
So it was a defensive battle last night in the Saints' 12-10 win over the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott averaged less than 2 yards per carry and had a key fumble, but Zeke also did have the only touchdown in the game. Dak Prescott had under 250 passing yards, no touchdowns, and an interception on a Hail Mary attempt at the end of the game. And after the game, Dak said that the loss does not impact the team's confidence moving forward. Skip, should the Cowboys be more concerned about Dak or Zeke here?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
They have obviously no concerns about Dak Prescott, who still leads the National Football League in QBR. By the way, the totals are 91.4 for Dak through 4 games. Your homeboy is 87.6. They virtually had the identical QBR of 77 yesterday. Mahomes at Detroit. But Dak was playing at New Orleans in the toughest defensive test he will face for the whole schedule, because they were spoiling to get revenge over Dak and the whole football team for the 13-10 whooping that they put on Drew Brees and the Saints last year on a Thursday night at Jerry World. So, again, Dak had about half an Amari. He had a limited Amari, and he had no Michael Gallup. So let's see what happens when he gets those 2 guys healthy, which brings me to my guy, Ezekiel Elliott, the guy I have pushed and defended as the best running back in football. I am concerned, and they should be
Concerned about what?
dearly concerned. So the last 2 times he's faced a tough defensive test. It was here in the Coliseum against the Rams in the second round of the playoffs, second playoff game they played, and now at New Orleans. What happened in those games? Against the Rams, he went a total of 20 carries for 47 yards. And if you take away his long of 15, that means he went 19 for 32 yards. Well, that's exactly what happened last night, because he went 18 times for 35 yards. That's a 1.9 average. So I am very concerned about him against a credible defense, because the first 3 games obviously weren't credible defenses. And against credible defenses, it's a combination of my concern of Zeke, the new $100 million running back, and my offensive line that got its golden tails whipped repeatedly by the Saints front last night. And if you have the best running back, nobody can stop you. Let's go back to the days of Jim Brown or even Barry Sanders or certainly Emmitt Smith. Nobody could stop them. They just said, here we come, we're going to do this, and you can't stop it. And he's going to get his 100 yards whether you like it or not. So in these big games against good teams, he just gets shut down. I thought he looked a little slow out of the blocks last night. Maybe he's a little heavy. Maybe he's not quite in game shape yet after spending the summer in Cabo, but he still looked like Cabo Zeke last night. And my offensive line got knocked off the ball repeatedly, and he had nowhere to run, and he wasn't able to out-quicken you. Kamara can just flat out quick you to a gap. Like, he'll find a gap when it's not there, and then he'll slither through it, he'll drag you, he'll cut, he'll dart. He has incredible balance. He was the better running back last night. He outplayed Ezekiel Elliott. And
why don't you have those concerns with Dak? Why don't you have those concerns with Dak?
Well, he had
because Dak, I'm
of
concerned with Dak because, again, in big games, when they can't run the football, he can't deliver them from evil. Again, he's 1-8 when Zeke Elliott is held under 75 yards rushing. This is his opportunity. What did he do in the game last year, Skip Bayless? They won. They played New Orleans. What did Dak do? They won 13-10. There's a reoccurring theme here. Team shut down Zeke. They shut down Dak. It's easy for Dak. What did he do against Miami? Oh, look at Dak throw the ball against Miami. Yeah, they ran for 1,700 yards. Oh, look at Dak. Look at Dak against Washington. Zeke had another 100-yard performance.
Did you see him against Philly last year twice? Did you like those games?
And did you like
him against Seattle in the playoff game?
If I'm not mistaken, Zeke had 100 yards in all three of those games. There's a recurring theme here, Skip. Stick with me. Stick with me. I'm going to slow it down for you. Skip, what I'm trying to say, follow me, Skip. I'm slowing it down. When Zeke runs the ball, Dak plays really well.
That's everybody. That's how it works for Tom Brady. They were the #1 rushing attack in the playoffs last year.
I'm not talking about Tom Brady.
Because he's the greatest quarterback ever played.
Because I've seen Tom Brady win ball games when they got no running game. That's what makes Skip. That's what makes the elite quarterbacks elite. When we can't run it, they can say, "Son, we can't run it today. Go win it." And the Peyton Mannings, the John Elways, the Tom Bradys, those elite quarterbacks can go get that done. We have yet to see your guy consistently do that because they are a play-action team. When you can't run the football...
They haven't been a play-action team until this year against 3 dog opponents.
Skip.
Well, seriously.
Skip.
They barely used play-action the last 3 years. This is a whole new world.
Skip. And they've also, when they don't run the football, look at when Zeke runs the football. Look at their record. Look at when Zeke can't run the football. Look at their record. What
happened? Help me out. My memory fades here a little bit. The first 8 games last year, they had Zeke healthy, happy, running like crazy. What happened? 3 and 5 happened. 5 times they couldn't eat at your restaurant. That's a lot of L's to take with Zeke leading the way.
So that should tell you.
You know why? Because he didn't have a #1 receiver until Amari got there and they took off.
You should be very upset with that.
Interesting.
Because now
they go as Amari goes.
It takes a #1 receiver to help your guy. If your guy's that guy.
Everybody needs somebody.
Oh, now everybody. You say Tom Brady don't.
Well, at Buffalo, he needed somebody. He couldn't pick 3 guys from Dorchester to come out of the stand.
You see, you keep.
You can't pick 3 guys from Orchard Park because they love the Bills.
Skip, I understand. Look, I was once told, say, son, you can be good at any game if you understand the rules and you're willing to win at any cost. But I'm trying to understand the rules, but Skip keep changing them.
No.
At one point in time, he says, Dak, everybody needs a run game. But now it's Zeke's fault when they can't run. Well, if your guy is what you say he is, shouldn't he be able to deliver?
He had about half of his #1 receiver last night because he got 2
No,
offensive pass interference.
Healthy.
No, he's not healthy.
Yes,
he got an MRI on Tuesday. Got a bad ankle, couldn't push off. So he had to push off literally of Marshawn Lattimore to get open, and they called him twice. I'll bet he's never been called for offensive pass interference in his life. He's the sweetest route runner in pro football, but he couldn't push off.
You've told me that once that guy steps onto that field, he's 100%. That's what you told me.
Well, I can just tell you he was. And Michael Gallup didn't step on the field last night, and he's developed into one of the best deep threats in pro football, and they didn't throw it up the field at all because Amari had no burst, and there's no Michael Gallup. So what? Maybe they should have tried one to Devin Smith or somebody or Tavon.
But, Skip, what they remind me of, when Zeke is running the football, it reminds you of when Beast Mode ran the ball in Seattle. It gets everybody energized. That defense really starts to fly. The special teams really starts to fly. And you look at those offensive linemen, how they run down the field and pick Zeke up, and Zeke starts eating. Woo! That's what you are.
Did you see him do this one time last
night? No,
they
made sure.
Thank you.
He ain't have nothing in his bowl.
Do it one time.
They took all his bowl, like Cam Jordan took all his cornflakes. Wouldn't even let it be all the cornflakes. Davenport took all his cornflakes.
So, what do we got here in the first, across the front of the New Orleans Saints? We got Cam Jordan, first-round pick, high pick. How about Marcus Davenport, UT San Antonio, first-round pick? How about Sheldon Rankins, first-round pick? How about Brown, that used to play for the Patriots? Malcolm Brown, he's a first-round pick. And the only sack that the Saints got last night was that Onyemata, that David Onyemata got Dak late.
Yeah,
that was the only sack they got all night. But they're all, you want to talk about a loaded defense? That defense is loaded. How about the secondary? Eli Apple, first round. Marshawn Lattimore, first round. Von Bell, second round. That is a loaded defense. That well could be the best defense in the NFC. I know the Bears are really good, but I don't know.
Skip me something you funny. Dallas Cowboys offensive line, Ty Smith, first rounder. Travis Frederick, first rounder. Zach Martin, first rounder. Connor Williams, first rounder. Zeke Elliott,
second rounder.
Connor Williams, second rounder. Zeke Elliott, first rounder.
Yep. So who won the battle last night?
Your running back, Zeke Elliott, first rounder.
Yeah.
Tavon Austin, first rounder.
Okay,
Randall Cobb, second.
Who won?
So
who won the line of scrimmage? Help me out. Repeatedly, who won it?
My team.
Did my offensive line protect Dak Prescott? They did not.
They did.
He had to run for his life.
And hold on, whoa.
And I'm going to give you this. He had one misfire the whole night, did Dak Prescott, and it came on a play from the 10-yard line on the opening drive in which he had to reverse pivot out of the pocket and run to his left. If we have that play handy,
he missed the touchdown.
Across
that was a touchdown.
Yep, and he's made this throw, as he said after the game, 1,000,000 times, and he threw a bullet.
And it's been incomplete 999,000 times.
No, it has not. This is his best. This is where he throws it the best. And he doesn't have great rapport yet with Randall Cobb, and he said, when it left my hand, I thought it was a touchdown, and it was just off the fingertips of Randall Cobb, who he had to wave back to uncover out of his route.
I know two guys that can make that play in their sleep. Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, boy.
I guarantee you. Guys.
Once upon a time, Aaron Rodgers, but no more.
Aaron Rodgers still made that play. Well, Dak ain't never made it.
Stop.
Dak ain't never made it.
That's his best throw.
No,
that's what he does best.
Yeah, flat-footed. Not rolling like that right there.
No, that's what he does best.
Now, my homeboy make that play in the sleep.
Yeah, sometimes, but he has to look to the referee. Hot dog.
He's going to
there's a new stat. It's the opposite of QBR. It's called hot dog stat.
With Pro Football Focus.
Hot dog.
Pro Football Focus downgraded it.
He's running away with the hot dog.
They downgraded it.
HD. Hot dog.
What he was doing, Skip, as he was leaving, he was like, I'm going to the store, ref, you need something? That's what he had. He's not going to the store, you need something? He's like, no, I'm good. And he took out running.
I did like it.
Yeah, I love it.
Glad you noticed that.
His opponents are going to love seeing that on film. And
do something about it.
We're going to show you.
Do something about it.
Yeah.
It's always something.
Hey, you make it mad, he throw for 400 on you.
Yeah.
Is that what you want, Skip Bayless?
I don't care. I don't care what Kansas City does. Is that what you're talking about?
You're going to get exactly what you're looking for December 8th.
Oh,
exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that'll be an easy night for Brady.
Okay.
Yeah, because he loves throwing against these guys.
Yeah.
No mercy.
All right, guys, before the Bills-Patriots game kicked off, Bills head coach Sean McDermott had to escort two New England staffers off the field, and one of the staffers was Bill Belichick's son, who was lingering on the sideline during the Bills' pregame warm-up. So McDermott was also up in arms with the helmet-to-helmet hit delivered to Josh Allen from Jonathan Jones. That was in the fourth quarter. The Bills did keep Tom Brady in check all day, though, and nearly pulled off the upset of the unbeaten Patriots. And we're now joined by Fox Sports NFL analyst Eric Mangini. It's been a bit. We're glad to have you back.
Good to be back.
Always
the
good.
Patriots fairly well since you were there for how many years?
6 years.
6 years? Okay.
Yeah.
I would say it's good to have you on this one. We are going to get to McDermott's concerns in a minute, but first, how concerned should the Patriots be with Brady's performance?
I don't think they should be that concerned with the performance. I think there's a lot of things that go into it. And you look at yesterday. Yesterday was a little bit different day overall. Patrick Mahomes, no touchdowns. Zeke Elliott averages 2 yards a carry. The Buccaneers score 55 points. Like, things were a little bit skewed. And the Bills have a really good defense. Okay, they have a really, really talented defense. The one interception that he threw in the red zone, I thought that was an outstanding play by the corner. It was man-to-man defense.
He baited you.
Yeah, there was a flat with a corner behind it. The corner did a great job of falling off late, Tom was scrambling to his right, which he rarely ever does.
Sure.
Yep.
So you got to give the Bills credit for that. And when you look at the injury report, we don't talk about it with New England because they don't talk about it. So there's this assumption that it just doesn't affect them. But you've got Julian Edelman, who was hurt. You've got Marshall Newhouse, who's now their 4th left tackle in the last 3 years.
Yep.
You've got a backup center because David Andrews goes down. And then look at the 2 tight ends. You've got 2 tight ends with a production of 29 receptions. And both those guys had been hurt. Mike Devlin's now on IR. N'Keal Harry, it goes on and on.
So true.
I'd say my biggest concern is the injury to Tom Brady and the fact that he's missing time during practice and the fact that they're bringing Cody Kessler in. They don't bring in 3 quarterbacks. They don't operate in a 3-quarterback system unless there's an issue that's a little bit bigger.
Interesting.
So that, to me, is the concern I have.
So you think Tom is legitimately limited somehow injury-wise?
For them to bring in Kessler, I would imagine that he has a legitimate injury, and that's where my biggest concern is.
I have no idea what it is because they won't say.
It's like,
No, that's
it's like
true.
it's a calf, and look, they're gonna be listed as limited in practice, but you can rep a guy once or twice and say they're limited in practice.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I mean, there's ways to present that.
Right.
Okay.
For me, normally, Skip, you'd probably be concerned, but when their defense is playing like they're playing, that defense is giving up 13 points in 4 games. And they get Washington, they get the Giants, and they get the Jets. So there's really no alarm for being concerned because Tom can figure it out as we go along, and if he's injured, he can get healthy as we go along. So I don't think they're going to be overly concerned because this defense is playing unbelievable. Jamie Collins coming back. Now, he fell into Coach Belichick's doghouse, but he can flat out play.
Yeah.
He's athletic. They're a big team. And Coach, you know this. Coach Belichick likes big, physical players. That front 7 is big and physical.
Yep.
They don't let you do a whole lot. I was surprised how well Frank Gore ran the ball yesterday. I was shocked that Frank Gore at his age was running the ball as well as he did.
Yep.
But they get after the quarterback better than you think because when you look at him, you're like, they don't have a Khalil Mack. They don't have a Von Miller. They don't have a guy that you was like, we got to scheme to him. They don't really have anybody that you got to scheme to in their front 7. They just got guys that play really hard. They're technically and fundamentally sound.
They are.
And if a guy has to be in the hook and flat, he's going to be there.
Yep.
You're not going to catch him out of position very often. But I don't know. I get what you're saying, Coach. I think the biggest thing is if there's something wrong with Tom, I think they brought Kessler in because they don't want Stidham to throw out his arm. They don't want him to take all the reps with the first team and have to throw scout team. I think Kessler might just be throwing scout team. But you could be right. You could be right that there's something. But, as we get older, Cam, as we age, the first thing to go, Skip, if people think your shoulder, it's your lower body.
That's interesting.
It's your lower body is the first thing to go on an aging athlete.
So what happens when you cannot protect Tom Brady and all of a sudden Julian Edelman is trying to play with cracked ribs and there's no Gronk and there's no Antonio Brown, which led to no Demaryius Thomas because they had to cut him to add Antonio. And they finally
ended up trading him.
Yeah, they did. And N'Keal Harry was the first wide receiver Bill has taken in the first round in his career.
Nope, since Derek Alexander for the Patriots.
For the Patriots? I
Yep.
thought so it's in 20 years?
Yeah,
or?
1995.
Okay.
You talking about he
okay.
with Cleveland?
I mean,
With
for the
Cleveland,
Browns.
for the
Yeah,
Browns.
that's the
I
second.
got
Yeah.
it. Okay, so for the Patriots.
Yeah.
So the point is, N'Keal Harry looked like he was going to be something a force to reckon with, and he goes down in the preseason and won't be back for the first 8 games. So all of a sudden, you brought back Benjamin Watson. He was there probably when was he
Yep.
there?
Yeah, he was there.
We
They drafted him.
Yeah.
He's been suspended for
Yep.
4 games.
Okay.
Yep.
He's back now.
Okay, so, but this is the first game.
Yeah, he'll be back
right?
this week,
Okay.
yes.
But you didn't have him yesterday. Well, it's hard, man. And if the 42-year-old gets moved off his spot routinely, consistently, which they did all day long, he was backpedaling, he was running left, he was running right, he was throwing the ball away here, left and right. I thought he should have been called for grounding a couple times, that he wasn't, but he's just dumping the ball because they're all over him, and he's not going to take a shot. He's not going to take a lick.
He's doing the Aaron Rodgers. He's throwing it away, huh? Now, I wonder if Pro Football Focus is noticing that.
Well, they will. They'll keep him.
Oh, you sure?
But Aaron's already on
Does that-
record
you-
pace to shatter his own record
see
for
what he did?
throwaways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing it. They're doing it.
No, you.
Well, you brought it up, and
No.
I finished it. Well, he is.
But I think the thing is, if I'm a team, and I know sometimes with all these injuries, I think I pressure him a little more than I would. And sometimes you might not get there, and sometimes you have to sacrifice. But I got to make him move off that spot. If you let him sit in that box, you let him sit in that phone booth, you can't beat him.
Well, the other thing about Buffalo that's unique is they've got Brian Daboll there. And Brian Daboll spent a ton of time there. He's worked on offense. He's worked on defense. He was my defensive coordinator or offense coordinator in Cleveland. He was with me at the Jets. He knows how to attack this offense, and I'm sure he shared that with him. And they did a nice job of disguising coverages and bring some different looks and showing man and going to zone. You saw the corners at times would start off and come up. Those are things you have to do to be competitive against Tom Brady. You've got to give him something and then show him something else. The other issue yesterday was they couldn't run the ball. And they were in a bunch of 3rd and longs. When you look at typical New England games, it's not 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 10, 3rd and
3 to 5.
Yeah, it's all manageable 3rd downs.
Where you can run or pass.
Run or pass, and this was a significant amount of 3rd and longer. And then Buffalo has good team speed. So the wide receiver or the running back screens, a lot of the plays that New England typically gets on other people weren't there. They closed those windows really quickly.
So, speaking of bizarre developments, how do you explain what happened when Sean McDermott is leaving the field before the game and he shoos Brian Belichick, obviously Bill's son, who's like an assistant to an assistant coach, and another staffer? They were sort of lingering on the field, and McDermott is leaving the field himself, and he shoos them off the field. What do you make of this?
Yeah, to me, this is overkill. All right, so you're in a stadium with 60,000 people who are all watching you warm up, and you're going to find the two people that you disagree with watching you warm up and shoo them off the field. Here's what happens with that is some teams will actually run plays that they're going to run in the game in their pregame warm-up. Some teams will run personnel groups that they're going to run in the game.
Absolutely.
And if you're going to do that, then the other team has the right, because you're in the stadium. There's no rule against personnel watching it. If you're going to expose what you're going to do, then the other team has the right to take a look at it. And at New England, we would always do that. We would always look at the pregame warm-up and see our guys in different spots, who's working, who's the sub at left guard, who's the sub. So if there's any question marks, a lot of those questions get answered in pregame. And that's the other team's fault for doing that. That's not New England's fault.
And a lot of times players watch. A lot of times the players will actually watch and see what's going on. Defensive players are watching the offense warm up, and the offensive players will watch not me. I didn't have time to worry about that. I was going to trust what I had watched on tape. But I agree. But I think the thing is, Skip, and Coach Mangini, I think you can attest to this. I think there's just the trust. And I agree with you. 60,000 people but it's like just the Patriots. Anything that the Patriots do, people are like, nah, y'all can't do it. Now, I'm sure the Patriots are not the only one that's done this. I'm sure there have been whomever they played before has done something like this.
He wouldn't have cared.
No.
No?
and they're not doing anything that everybody doesn't do every single week. There's always someone that sits and watches the other side's warm-up. And teams will put their players kind of to the back to try to shield a little
block
bit.
It, right.
But at the end of the day, if you're going to show your hand in the pregame warm-ups, that's your fault.
Yeah.
And shooing off two people in a stadium filled with 60,000 people, you can have someone in the booth. Like it is absolutely meaningless, and to get upset about that, it's overkill.
But you're exactly right, because coaches would say such and such is not. He's down today. What you call him is playing the Sam backer, or this guy's playing the DB. Well, obviously they're watching to see the team warm up. So he's in there, so clearly he's going to play. We were very basic. We weren't running no stack formation. We weren't running no empty sets in pre-games, because that's what we're going to run in the game. You run basic formation, a red, and just. We never ran double tight ends or anything like that. It was just basic formation, then go.
And I can tell you, over the last 20 years, New England's run the same exact pregame warm-up, time in and time out, and it's not going to change because there's no sense in giving anybody an edge right before the game starts. It's just silly.
So give us your quick coaching perspective on the hit that knocked Josh Allen out of the game by Jonathan Jones, 3rd and 8. Josh Allen takes off and is trying to run for the first down, and it's called a helmet-to-helmet foul, but he was not ejected. Jonathan Jones, your take?
I had no problem with what happened. So Josh Allen last year was what? 11th in the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
He was 31st in rushing yards per game. He averages 7 yards per rush.
Didn't he lead quarterbacks?
Yeah.
last year?
He led quarterbacks. So now it's 3rd and 8 in a game that's a one-score
Yeah,
game.
16 to
He's
10
trying to get the first down.
Yep.
This is what he does. He makes a decision. He's got all the protection in the world if he wants to slide. So he's about a yard short of the first down. He lowers his shoulder, and you can see, Jonathan, you can see the DB is actually trying to lead with his shoulder, and Allen initiates contact. Do you want to have safety? Yes. Are hits like that going to happen every single game? They're going to happen. But the idea that there was any maliciousness or that and you can see he probably would have gotten the first down had that contact not been made. And so what are you supposed to do defensively? Concede games because this guy decides to lower his shoulder? That's not right either. Yeah. I want safety. I want these guys protected. But there's got to also be an understanding that it is, at the end of the day, a physical and violent sport, and some collisions like these are going to happen as much as we try to mitigate
And
that.
Jonathan Jones did not launch himself. He was stationary. He planted.
Right.
And you can see him trying to come with the shoulder first, and his neck is...
And that was a live play.
Yeah.
It wasn't a dead ball play
true.
like Burfict. It wasn't a dead ball play like Barnett on Thursday night.
Yeah, that was-
Those are dead ball plays. That's totally different. This is a live play. He's running.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want him to do. Oh, concede the first down like, oh, I can't hit him. I'm sure you don't want him to hit him in the head, but you're not conceding the first down.
Yeah.
I'm trying. At the end of the day,
I'm
I'm
not
still
even
trying to
sure
win.
it was a foul, let alone he shouldn't have been.
Well, he
thrown out of the game.
tried to turn, but when you hit somebody, your head will.
And you're making that decision such
But
a
I don't
split
think he should.
second.
I agree. The flag, I agree with the flag, but he shouldn't have been thrown out.
But the running backs and the quarterbacks and the offensive players also have a responsibility not to lower their helmets, too. Everybody has to work to make this right.
Yeah. Okay.
I've seen them call it a few times on the running backs. They've called that in the open field with the running back lowering his head.
Yeah, about...
A little bit.
They get like one every quarter.
Yeah.
Eric, good to have you.
No mercy.
Seattle held Kyler Murray to under 250 yards and no touchdowns through the air. The rookie QB did have a rushing touchdown, but also had a pick six and was sacked 4 times. So, Shannon, has Kyler been better or worse than you thought he would be so far?
He's been exactly what I thought he would be. I didn't expect him to have success this year. Skip, as the number 1 overall pick, especially at the quarterback position, you normally go to a pathetic football team. And when you go as a quarterback, the most important thing is when you go into a bad football team is the offensive line. And I tried to state this, and I said, people, what you must understand is that he had the best offensive line in all of college football. And he had some of the best skill set players in all of college football. And they did him a huge disservice, Skip, by not addressing that issue from an offensive line standpoint. Now, he got sacked 18 times in 14 games last year. In 4 games now, he's been sacked 20 times.
Yep.
That's on pace for 80, which will break David Carr's record. Skip, he's not built for this. It broke David Carr, and he was never the same. You sack this young man 80 times, he's never going to be the same. I fought Cliff Kingsbury, too, because, Skip, remember? They didn't want to show us much in the preseason. Well, hell, these games count for real. When you going to show us something? You're 24th in scoring, you're 24th in total yards. I'm waiting to see something. You see, Skip, the difference is that Kyler could always get out of harm's way in college with his feet. These guys, everybody can run, especially defensive linemen, because they get fast defensive linemen because they got to keep up with those fast-ass offensive players. Those guys can run, and they intercept them at the point. Skip, he's not a hard tackle because, like you said, he's not a big man. He's never been a big man, and the one thing he knows, he can't take that big hit. Nor does he want to, nor should he. Skip, if you look at him, he's dead last in yards per attempt in the first 3 quarters, 5.6.
How about the fourth quarter?
Skip, they're behind.
Oh.
You're behind by 20 points. You're behind by 18 points. But the game, so what are we doing? They have yet to win a game. They have yet to win a game, Skip
They're
Bayless.
terrible.
Okay. All I'm saying is, Skip, is that I tried to warn people, temper your expectations because of the place where he's going and what's going to be surrounding him.
So, my answer to Jenny's question is, given all the degree of difficulties you just detailed, Kyler Murray has exceeded my expectations through the first 4 games because they have not won a game, but they did tie the Detroit Lions.
Really,
who were off
Bayless?
to a roaring start. And you know how they did it? In the fourth quarter of his debut in the National Football League, Kyler Murray went 15 of 19 in the fourth quarter for 154 yards. And it went to overtime, and it ended up in a tie. That's pretty great for a debut. Then he goes to Baltimore and goes head-to-head with Lamar Jackson, and obviously a Ravens defense that you at that point had high respect for. And he threw for 86 yards in the fourth quarter and kept them right in the game that went all the way to the wire. And Lamar made, ironically, a throw up the rail to his former college receiver, Hollywood Brown, to ice the game. But it was a close one. Then here came the Panthers out to Arizona. Do you know what the Panthers did yesterday to Deshaun Watson at Houston?
Yeah.
They just annihilated him. He went down 6 times. They scored 10 points at home against that defense because it can fly to the ball and it can get after the quarterback. So it got after Kyler, and he had a long night that night, or long afternoon, with 8 sacks in that game, 30 of 43, but didn't throw for many yards. And that was pretty much a wipeout, 38-20. Yesterday, Seattle comes to town, and Seattle is stung because it got shell-shocked by Teddy Bridgewater's New Orleans Saints. So they want to get even. They want to take it out on a division opponent, and they mostly took it out on the Arizona Cardinals, who are a terrible football team. And it was 20 to 3 early in the fourth quarter, and here came Kyler Murray. Boom, 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 all the way up the field, 8 plays, 80 yards, touchdown. And if we have the little video of how he scored the touchdown, I don't know why we don't see more of this kind of play call from Cliff Kingsbury. Did you see that? That's what he does. That's what he can do best. And little quarterback draw, and nobody could see him. Nobody could see him.
Yeah, but Skip,
you want to talk about acceleration?
Yeah,
I don't get to see that enough.
It's hard to do that when you're in the middle of the field or you're backed up.
I don't know why, because I don't know why you wouldn't try it. Mix it in. It's not what Cliff Kingsbury does. It's not what they do. It's what Lincoln Riley does that Cliff never did.
Try it.
Cliff is in love with throwing the football 60 times a game. Lincoln Riley will mix up the run and the pass, and the quarterback will run for Lincoln Riley. See Jalen Hurts.
You can run. Okay. Tell Lincoln Riley to bring that offense to the NFL when you don't have offensive linemen that can protect your quarterback, and it'll eat him up. I don't care your quarterback. There's a reason why the Patriots brought Skarnecchia back out of retirement. Why was that, Skip? Because the offensive line couldn't protect Tom. For whatever reason,
2015.
They brought him back out of retirement.
They did.
If you can't protect your quarterback, you can't win in this league.
Yep, and he has made a lot of lemonade out of a lot of lemons.
Yes, and so with Baker, Skip, that offensive line is bad.
Yep.
But you can't keep letting this kid get hit like this.
With Kyler,
the Cardinals' offensive line is terrible.
Agreed.
They're terrible.
So here's what's great about Kyler Murray is he's gone down all those times. How many is it? 20 sacks. I've watched every bit of Kyler's games, and not once have I winced at a shot that he took, because they just sort of pull him down.
Yeah.
He's going away from them. He knows how to fall. He knows how to avoid. It's like Emmitt Smith, sort of, where you can't get a clean shot.
But Skip, that's a blessing and a curse, because there's no ability to make no plays. Because sometimes the Eli Manning play happened in the Super Bowl because what? That play Kyler Murray was go down. Eli Manning fought and was able to get out and make a play.
For once in his life. I've never seen him do that before.
At some point.
But at some point in time, Skip, you're going to have to fight, and he's going down because he knows he's not a big man.
He will not fight. If you get a hand on him, he'll just go down.
And see.
But it's self-preservation. It's not David Carr. David Carr would just stand there and get rocked.
Right.
Yeah. He was sacked 18 times in 14 games at Oklahoma last year.
Right.
So 18 to 20 we're
he
through
had
4 games.
arguably the best offensive line.
It wasn't arguably that he was great.
You could argue.
But that's 20 sacks.
Yep.
How many times has he been hit? We're talking about the times he's been down.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the times he's been hit. There's an accumulation. Skip, you know this, like a running back only has so many tackles, so many hits in his body.
Yep.
So does a quarterback. Quarterback's only going down so many times.
I got it. But here's his biggest problem is the defense is now 3rd worst in yards allowed and 4th worst in points allowed, and that means that in time of possession they are 4th worst because they can't get the ball back. So he went 8 plays, 80 yards, and it cut it to 20-10. And I thought, this is early in the fourth quarter. And I thought, here they come. They're going to make this a game. It's going to be 20-17 if they get the ball back. And what did Russell Wilson do? He went 15 plays for a touchdown.
Right.
And it was over. Right?
Yeah.
Because the defense can't stop anybody.
But here's the thing. In the first half, your offense is going 3 and out and bringing your defense back on the field after they're tired.
Sometimes. But, again, you're right. They got way ahead in the first half. Second half, Kyler's offense hung in, and it was 7-7 in the second half against Seattle. Not bad. I mean, they're respectable, and Kyler's playing respectable football, but I wish they would mix in a few more quarterback draws or read options where they can get him loose.
Well, Skip, I thought David Johnson would run the ball a little better than what he is.
He's not.
To take some of the Skip.
They're 23rd in rush yards.
Skip, Cliff Kingsbury needs to understand.
David Johnson's averaging 43 yards a game rushing.
No.
Yeah, I did too. I thought that would be.
But I know Cliff at Tech, you threw it you can't throw it every down in the NFL.
Cannot.
You cannot.
I agree.
There's a reason why the run and shoot went away. Because people's quarterback got pounded.
Yeah.
They knocked your quarterback out. So you better be able to run the ball.
I agree. Because Cliff is still basically saying, look at me, and I'm looking at the quarterback.
Yeah, on the ground. Kylie said, Cliff,
yet.
you need to call some runs or you need to come take some of these shots.
Share a few
Once
of
upon a
those.
time, Cliff took some shots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
great
He should
back.
know. He should know.
No mercy.
Well, it was a defensive battle last night in the Saints' 12-10 win against the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott averaged less than 2 yards per carry and had a key fumble, but Zeke also had the only touchdown in the game. Jason Witten led the team with 50 receiving yards, but also lost a fumble. And Dak Prescott had under 250 passing yards, no touchdown, and an interception on a Hail Mary attempt at the end of the game. But after the game finished, Dak said the loss does not impact the team's confidence moving forward. So, Shannon, how much better do you feel about your prediction that the Cowboys will miss
Yeah, Shannon.
the playoffs?
Skip, I feel good.
Oh, do you
I feel real good, Skip. I feel real good.
Yeah, I
now,
know
I
you're
feel
a little hungover today, but that's okay.
I feel great about my prediction about the NFC East. I feel great this morning.
Really?
Great. I'm talking about Tony the Tiger.
Never been better.
Great. Yeah, about that one.
Yeah.
Now, I feel real good because at the quarter pole, you're what I thought you would be. You played 3 bad teams early. You got out to 3-1. You played a good team, even with a backup. Y'all lost to a backup. But anyway, 3-1.
I thought we'd be 3.
That's what I thought, too. That's what I thought, too. And you're right where I thought you would be.
Okay.
And now you're about to be 3-2 because the Green Bay going to put that thing on, bust your head on Sunday. And then we gonna win our game, and then we be 3-2, and we be ta-da, right where I thought all along, Skip
Really?
Bayless. Look, everything is on schedule. I love when playing come together. Jenny, you ever sat down and you map out something? You sit down as a kid, Skip. I was writing down like, okay, when I'm 18, this is what I want to do. 21,
Did you
25.
do that?
Goal.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
And then as I'm coming along, like check, check.
I
And
should do that.
Yeah, at the quarter pole, 3-1, check. Teams bottle up Zeke, they lose, check.
He lost across the list.
Dak doing what I thought he would do when they can't run the ball, check.
Really?
Yeah, I feel real good. I'm feeling real good, Skip.
Do you have that list as well, Skip?
No, I didn't make that list when I was a kid. I just knew it was going to be good.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be good. It ain't gonna be good. This year ain't gonna be good. I'm glad you weren't thinking about 2019.
You know, I'm feeling even better about how bad your prediction was that my team's going to miss the playoffs because did you notice my defense last night at New Orleans?
I did.
Kamara, boy, Michael Thomas, man. Did you see what happened? Did you see Robert Quinn flying off the edge? The mighty Quinn? All of a sudden, it looked different to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know where my new $100 million DeMarcus Lawrence is, but maybe he'll get a fire lit under him by Rod Marinelli next week. I don't know. But speaking of next week, here come the Green Bay Packers to Jerry World.
Yep.
So, Mr. Sharpe,
Yes.
I know you love you some Aaron Rodgers and Packers. Here's what I've noticed about the Green Bay Packers. If we go back 3 games ago, at Green Bay, they allowed your Minnesota Vikings to run for 198 yards on that frozen tundra.
Yeah.
Not frozen
Not
yet.
frozen yet.
Not frozen yet.
It was rainy, though.
They
It
I
was
wish
wet.
it was.
They scorched it. It was like on fire. They had to put out the wildfire on the tundra because they ran for 198. And would you believe the Denver Broncos went to the hallowed Lambeau Field, and they ran for 149 yards rushing, 149. And then guess what the Eagles did the other night? 176 yards rushing against the Green Bay Packers, who now go to Jerry World against a Zeke who, I don't know what's happened to him, but you don't think that maybe he'll get healthy all of a sudden in this game? You don't think that you're going to get to see him do this against Green Bay a bunch of times?
If I'm Green Bay, if I'm Mike Patton, I'm selling out to shut down Zeke.
Man, I don't know. I kind of like my chances in this game, albeit without Tyron Smith, who had a high ankle sprain last night. And Jane Slater, NFL Network, reported after the game he looked very unhappy as he was carted to the bus. So I don't know.
That was unlucky.
Left tackle, but back in 2017, remember what happened with no Tyron Smith when they went to Atlanta? What happened?
8 sacks.
Do you remember Chaz Green, the immortal Chaz Green, former, I think, 5th-round pick from Florida?
Claiborne. Got 7 sacks on it.
But now we got Cameron Fleming, who used to protect Tom Brady's blind side in New England, and I thought he filled in admirably last night because I didn't hear his name called. I didn't see anybody flying off.
I did. That last sack was on him.
No, it wasn't.
That last sack was on him.
Not that guy. What's his name? Onyata. He came up the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a stunt. They tricked him. They fooled him. It looked like they're going to blitz. Everybody's at the line of scrimmage, and they all bailed.
Oh, so them Smith boys, Preston, Zadaria. Oh, yeah, them Smith boys coming. Yeah, them Smith boys coming.
I think Cameron Fleming will be just fine if he really has to go.
Well, if Ty Smith got a high ankle sprain, he's not playing.
So I kind of like my chances against Green Bay just running the ball. You tell me they go as Zeke goes. Maybe he'll go for 200.
No.
Yeah,
Throw it. This that time. This that time.
So your Eagles do get the Jets this next Sunday. That should be pretty easy.
Don't do that,
then guess where they have to go before they go to Dallas? They go to Minneapolis to play Jenny's Vikings.
Are we feeling good about that?
Minneapolis.
Did you see Four Cousins yesterday?
Maybe Four Cousins will have a game. Maybe I'll be rooting like crazy for old third, fourth Cousins, right?
Can't even talk about
it.
It was
you heard what
so
Adam
hard to
Thielen
watch.
said.
Yeah, their defense is still held.
Did you hear
what he said?
Adam Thielen said, look, you could have the best running game and one of the best running backs in football. At some point in time, you got to throw it downfield.
Yep.
You like that, Kurt?
Yep.
You like that?
You like that for $84 million guaranteed dollars?
I don't like it.
But, hey,
Thank you.
I know who else don't like that. Zim.
Yeah.
Mike Zimmer.
One thing about Kirk Cousins, kind of when you least expect it, he can have a game.
Oh, yeah, he can.
When you least expect it. So maybe he'll have a game against the Eagles, but then they go to Jerry World for a Sunday night game. And I like that a lot.
I'm sure you do.
Because my quarterback will be able to throw a party. Here we go.
So what you think my guy going to do? D. Jack will be back by then?
My defense is really good. It just gets better and better by the snap.
I can't
it's
tell.
so young.
Hey.
Oh, could you tell last night? Can they not fly to the ball?
Look, my coach, I had a coach once tell me, say, look, if it's a low-scoring game and we lose, I blame the defense. If it's a shootout and we lose, I blame the offense.
There you go.
I feel real good about where I am.
Skip, did you mean to tell me?
Who's ahead by one game in the East right now? Oh, it's Dallas.
Only temporarily. Only temporarily.
Really?
Only temporarily.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
No mercy.
The Browns pulled off an impressive win over the Ravens, but it wasn't without incident. With under 4 minutes left in the third quarter, Odell Beckham Jr. threw a punch at Ravens defender Marlon Humphrey. Humphrey then threw Odell on the ground and proceeded to choke the receiver. Both players were flagged, but no ejections were issued. And Browns head coach Freddie Kitchens said Humphrey got away with it because it was on Odell. After the game, both players addressed the incident. Take a listen.
I ran to him after the game and apologized. It's not really what the brand of football I really want to represent. And the whistle blows. It's got to be over with. Emotions flaring. I enjoyed going against a top guy like that. Anytime you go against I think this offseason I've had more people tell me, oh, you get to play Odell, than people don't even talk to me about stuff like that.
It's hot out there. We're just competing. I'm just upset I lost my earrings.
Shannon, do you agree with Freddie Kitchens that Humphrey was not ejected because it was Odell?
No. Did he see the series before? Odell threw a punch. So Marlon says, okay, y'all ain't gonna do anything about this. I'm gonna Debo him next time. I'm gonna get him on the ground and I'm putting him hands.
You ever seen anybody get choked?
I mean, he literally, no, Skip, I'm talking about he literally choked him.
No, can you remember it ever happening? I can't.
I've
never seen
not
choking.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
And the official like, I ain't finna get none of that. You getting all that by yourself. And I know Marlon Humphrey very well. His dad, I played with his dad, Bobby Humphrey. Skip, and when I first...
He won, I mean, he made the Pro Bowl your rookie year.
Well, no, his rookie year.
Yeah.
My rookie year, he did, yes. But Skip, when I first got to Denver, my apartment wasn't going to be ready until October.
Wow.
Bobby allowed me to stay in his home for 3 weeks until my apartment got ready. So I know... Obviously, Marlon wasn't born then, so I'm cool with Marlon, and that's what you should do. Yeah. And Odell is finding out, kicking nets don't hit back. But you hit a grown man in the game, they fight back. He Debo'd him. That's how Debo choked Smokey back there when they were rolling dice over there.
No, I just never seen anything like this, but I loved Odell's response. I'm just upset I lost my earring.
What is he supposed to say, Skip? What is he supposed to say? We're going to be able to see this. That's going to be a meme. We're going to be able to see this forever. The man got you on the football field choking you. That's not going away.
I know. I agree. And I don't know what happened to the earring. Is it in the grass?
Marlon probably got it.
Is the ground screw out there just sifting through the grass?
If I'm Marlon, I show up to the press conference on Monday when I do my interview, I got Odell earring in my ear. That's where it's at.
What do you think it's worth?
That's what Debo. When Debo took people chain, what did he do?
Plenty.
Debo wear them.
It's worth plenty.
Yeah.
I mean, what, 50 grand?
But,
I don't know.
Skip, think about when you remember, and everybody remember this, when Odell went haywire on Josh Norman.
Yeah.
And he wasn't thrown out. He should have been thrown out.
Yeah.
He targeted him. He kept
Tom Coughlin should have pulled him out.
No, but Tom Coughlin was trying to win. He said that after the game. No, Odell started it. And I'm glad they made it like, look, Marlon said that's not the brand of football. I wouldn't apologize. Maybe at a later date and time.
Yeah.
I was like, he started it. I finished it. Now, if we want to talk about it, we go, hey, bro, I'm sorry about this, but that'll be later.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna apologize right after the game because I'm still in my field sometimes.
But Marlon Humphrey seems like a classy kid.
He is.
Like
He is.
From Alabama,
Yeah.
like high draft pick, 16th overall draft pick, and he just lost it.
Yeah.
Like Odell threw on him, and he just said, okay.
If he's anything like his dad, you got to push him really far to get him there.
Yeah, right.
But once you get him there, you're going to catch hell getting him away from there.
Exactly.
And so that's what happened. You hit the man in the face. Emotions are already going high. This is a very testosterone-driven game. This mano and mano.
Yep.
You hit a man in the face, what are you supposed to do?
Well, hey, I do think deep down the referees are saying, it's just Odell. He's always in the middle of something. Just let it go. Just let it go.
Skip, here's the thing about breaking up a fight. Okay, if you're going to break up a fight, Jenny, you need two people.
Okay.
Because if I grab one and the one I grab somehow gets hit, guess what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. The one that I grab going to turn around and me and him going to start fighting.
Okay.
So what you do, hey, you grab one, I grab one, don't nobody get no cheap punches in.
Yep.
Right.
So the official's like, I'm not finna grab somebody and then Odell get a sneak punch because Marlon might turn around and start choking me.
You don't want that.
No, I don't want that.
I do think it was very smart for Freddie Kitchens to tell the media, I'm going to the bus and I'm calling Al, as in River, on to complain about this because you need to, he wants to be the ultimate players coach. I got your back.
So what are you going to talk about, Al? Hey, Al, I want you to disregard that Odell hit him in the punch the series before. Don't worry about that. I want to talk about the Marlon choking him.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
Yep. Well, it was a little out of bounds to me. I mean,
what, the choke?
Yes.
Nah, that wasn't out of bounds.
Come on.
No, you hit me in the face.
Huh?
Skip, what I'm supposed to do?
No, I know, but usually it's the guy who responds who gets tossed, and you got to eject for choking. I've never seen anybody get choked.
I'm talking about he's stressed out with it. He's like, yeah.
I got you.
Please, I know.
Yeah.
Odell ain't do nothing. I mean, you got to at least kick him. Odell, you got to kick him or something now. You just can't lay there and take it.
I think that's why the referee's like, that's Odell. We're looking the other way.
He's like, okay, well, you ain't trying to get him up off you.
Nope.
I mean, at some point in time, I mean, look, in a fight, look here. If you get that gin, I can't get you up off me, you welcome to stay. But I promise you I'll get you up off me. But Odell would just seem to be fine laying there.
He did.
I'm like, what the hell is that?
Now I know how to break up a fight.
You ain't gonna get that man up off you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, no, I know. I don't want to mess with him.
No mercy.
Time for some breaking news in our final topic of the day, guys. Raiders linebacker Vontaze Burfict has been suspended for the rest of the season. Burfict was ejected yesterday after a helmet-to-helmet hit. Burfict has been suspended for 6 previous games for illegal hits, and he will appeal this suspension. So, Shannon, what is your reaction to this breaking news?
Hell, what took you so long? Skippy, he's a repeat offender.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know anywhere else to get around it. We saw him got suspended in 2017, 4 games for Anthony Sherman. I think it was appealed down to 3 games. 2016, we saw the hit in the playoff game against Antonio Brown.
Ooh.
It got appealed at some point in time. Now, we've seen countless twisting guys' ankle in the pounds, poking guys in the eye. We've seen number over and over again and again. They warn him and warn him. They fine him 3 game checks, 4 game checks, and it's never enough. Just remove him from the game.
Yep.
That's it. Enough is enough. Just go, you go be by yourself and you see how you like that.
How about suspend him for his career? Is that possible?
I wouldn't be opposed to that, Skip.
Wow.
So remember, he came out of Arizona State, and he's a really talented player, but he went undrafted because his questionable character was so questionable.
Yes.
It was beyond questionable. And Marvin Lewis said, I can make a football player out of that guy because he will hit you.
Yes.
And he would hit you.
Skip, he can play.
He can play. His second year under Marvin, he made the Pro Bowl. And then what happened? One bad thing after another, adding up to $4.2 million in fines. He has forfeited $4.2 million in fines.
But
and did he learn his lesson?
No, you know why, Skip? Because he's made $32 million.
Yeah.
So even though he's lost $4 million, he's made $32.
That's a good
Skip,
point.
it's like a guy, it's like steroids. If I make $300 million in baseball, you pop me for steroids, I miss a year and I lose $30 million. I still got $270. What have I lost? You got to remove him. You got to say, you know what? I'm done. You done.
By the way, he got popped for PEDs in 2018 for 4 games.
Skip, he gonna mess around and seriously hurt someone.
Yep.
Then what?
Because what happened yesterday was completely over the line.
Come on, man.
I mean, it was just like, I want to hurt you.
He launched, like you said, the other guy in New England, he didn't launch. No. He launched himself, helmet first. Man, he gonna mess around and hurt somebody. Skip, you don't go out there intentionally trying to hurt somebody. I believe he goes out there with the intent to hurt someone.
That is it for us, guys.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.